Hey everybody, it's me, Melody. Welcome to my stream. If you haven't already, you know what to do. Hit the like, subscribe, and share button. Now, today's guest is a cool dude. He has a strong views and a strong opinion on things, and he goes by the name of Manna Tomorrow. So let me bring him up. Hi, MOT.
Sorry about that. Yeah, what's going on?
Oh, hey,
Thanks for
nothing
having
much.
me on.
Hey, so, how are you?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Just
Good.
making sure that things work straight with the business. But that's it. You know.
Well, are you driving right now?
Nah, no,
Okay, so I don't have to worry about being cut off or anything by Wi-Fi, nothing like that.
no, no, no. I'm sitting.
Okay, you good. So, what brought you to YouTube?
I mean, I was looking for something for like my nephews to look at, like similar people who had my point of view, and I thought, that this was kind of the space for it. And I quickly recognized later on that this is not the space for it. But when you're dealing with other people's kids and you can't really directly interface with them, because
Mhm.
this was like 5 or 6 years ago. This is like when like my they're both probably about a couple years in age difference. It's like one of my younger brother's kids. I mean,
Mhm.
because I couldn't directly interface with them because every time they wanted me to directly interface with them, their mother would want like a payout and would
Mm.
like put me in a position to like, yeah, you need to give me some money if you're gonna be here seeing my kids type shit. So it's like,
Really?
yeah. So it's like, okay, I want to see my nephews, but I don't want to be put in this type of situation to where they got to see me disrespect the shit out of their mother because they know I do that shit in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And so it's like, so we just started, just talking over Xbox Live. All the things they go through and all that kind of bullshit. Even though it had nothing to do with her, but the grades went up. They understood how things actually went, and they was dealing with these other people kind of within the space. And then like my brother found out about it, and then like he listened to some of this shit, and he was like, "Nah, man, they just gotta listen to you. They can't listen to these other dudes, man. We're not doing that." So that's kind of what it was. So
It might be too much for the kids. Yeah. Well, how old were the kids?
at that point, we're talking 5 years old. JJ is 21, so he was 16, and RJ, he just graduated. He was 5 years ago, I think 12 or 13, because he just graduated this year.
Yeah. Well, I think
Yeah,
those are good ages to listen to this. The earlier, the better.
yeah, because my brother's baby mother, she had full custody of the kids, and it's kind of hard to get your kids in Mississippi. It isn't like every other state where you got all these chances and shit. Mississippi is just a wrap. She got the kids, period. That's what it is.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
So, well, if you had to give your channel a mission statement, what would it be?
Yeah, I'm gonna go into rebranding my channel. Rebranding my channel, get some marketing and analytics, and do what I needed to do in the first place with the channel. But I was just like, it's it's just a place to properly analyze these problems and get rid of them. Because how most of these people got introduced to these problems in the first place, Melody, was an
Mhm.
improper introduction. That's how most things happen within kind of the black space of anywhere within Black America. It's always an improper introduction that always leads to a whole bunch of heartache that don't need to happen with results that definitely don't need to happen. So that's kind of what
Agreed.
it is.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, okay, so I'm gonna get right into the questions.
All right.
So, for those who don't know, I'm sure a lot of people know in this space, but for those who don't know, what exactly is SYSBM?
Save yourself, black man. It's pretty much a deliberate cultural plan to actually have a deliberate cultural output. Now, what we've actually seen, what I've actually seen in the here is that people want to endlessly complain about the problems that they put themselves into.
Right.
right? And so we was like, if we already know the outcome is going to be bad, we already know the people haven't been socialized into actually coming towards a specific outcome. Why would you deliberately go into a system to where you don't get anything out of it? No, it just doesn't make any proper type of sense to deliberately put yourself in that type of space for those reasons. So
Yeah, I agree with that. But what made you decide to become SYSBM?
no,
Like,
it
what
was
is,
already a lifestyle for me. It was already a lifestyle for me. I mean, it wasn't called anything. It's like when I was in Germany, I seen people over there who never came back to the States when they went over there during
mm,
Vietnam or Korea and all that kind of stuff. And once you start traveling overseas, like on military bases and military installations, because they have civilians that work on those bases, like you have civilians that work on the Department of Defense or the Defense Finance Agency or any of these other government jobs over
right.
there. There are always people who are over there. I'm like, hold on a second. This stuff really isn't advertising. And we're like, how did he? Oh, they came over here and they never went back. They pretty much got a back office job and just stayed. And I just seen how those people lived, and they had a better cultural outcome because there was in a culture of people who loved and respected them. One, and
Mhm.
they weren't preoccupied by being on this sexual thing that we have going on in the United States. It's not that I can't be good at it. I could be good at anything if I lower my standards and I would be willing to do ineffective things for a living. But at the end of the day, I got to be not doing things like that.
Exactly. And a lot of people think that SYSBM have something to do with just leaving black women behind, all about women. But according to you, it's about just starting a new culture, period.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So is this possible for a black woman like me, who's ADOS? Pretty much, I'm mixed. I'm half Dominican, but I'm still ADOS. Is it possible for me to get with a SYSBM man?
Yeah. As long as you got your stuff together and you don't have any of those type of outcomes that or the attitudes or the actual what do you call it? People that they bring along, sure. I mean, it's just that that's why SYSBM is an outcome based thing. It's not really input based because you can never leave the United States and still be SYSBM and never have to even go to another country. You
Right.
literally don't need to be.
Right. So, okay. So that answers the question. You can pretty much take a black woman and go overseas and become SYSBM. Okay. That makes sense. All right. So I heard you say you have an international girlfriend.
Yeah,
Is that correct? Okay.
yeah.
So is you having an international girlfriend part of you being SYSBM, or is just something that happened?
I actually could have met her in the United States. I mean, it's just that I was dealing with. I wanted to deal with a better cultural outcome. I didn't want to be here doing ineffective things for ineffective reasons. I mean, we know
Right.
what older people we have around us and how they really feel about trying to create anything new that's outside of their control. But I totally could have met a woman that's Cambodian in the United States. I totally could have met. I mean, it's so many different cultural circles that I'm in. I really don't need to leave to get what I actually need if I actually needed to do it again. Even though I prefer to do it overseas, so that way I know where they come from, versus some of the actual things that could, happen to them in the United States that could make them really drop some of that cultural training. Because I'm
Right.
here for a better cultural outcome. It's not about me. It's not about trying to be on the marketplace or proving anything to anyone. I just want to make sure that I do things that make a certain amount of proper cultural sense.
Okay. I get what you're saying. So she's here in the United States right now, right?
Yes.
Are you afraid that feminism will take over her thoughts?
No.
Did you speak to her about it? Did you educate her about feminism?
No. Why would I educate her about something like that?
Does she watch TV? And is she on social media?
No, she don't do the social media thing, and she watches their cultural shows and all that kind of stuff. But she really don't watch the American stuff all that much.
Right. Yeah, because it's probably very, very easy for her to get brainwashed
Oh, sure.
on social media, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the other thing that all these things are choices. It's like the environments that you put yourself in. That's a choice. You don't really have to do any of this stuff. And what it is that most of these people don't understand proper choice until they no longer have the choice to choose themselves once this stuff is over with. Which is how this stuff normally works. Is they make sure that the people are not equipped to make those type of decisions for themselves, and then they ended up getting handed off to somebody else who's going to do the finishing quote unquote training for them. And that's how you have all this particular time being wasted trying to gain something that's very simple. So a lot of people don't know or really don't understand that most of the things that they want are just really not here anymore. Or you have to look through things that it's just the actual input and the output just doesn't make any sense. And so, they want you to do all this cultural, monkey dancing and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, look, and my grandfather raised me very well, along with my other parents. They said, look, if they're not around by the time you graduate and have your shit together, you better not put them in your life after you get your shit together. Period.
Exactly. So, okay, so this question is a little bit, might be weird to you, but do you get like a lot of dirty looks from Black American women because you
Oh
have a,
yeah,
yeah?
yeah,
Okay,
oh yeah. And it's even worse in the South once I go to Mississippi because she's dark skinned, but she's clearly
exotic.
not black. Yeah, clearly
Right,
not black.
right. Yeah, because a lot of Black women are jealous. I did notice that. Whether they're
Oh yeah.
Black, white, Spanish, if they're not from the United States, Black women will hate on them badly. So, yeah, I figured that. I figured that was a problem.
No,
So,
it's not a problem. It's actually letting them know that they've been replaced. Like I don't have to sit here and really try to argue with anybody about anything. Like it's over. You really can't have an argument that's better than new inventory. You can't
exactly.
have a better argument than that. And they'll like, oh well, I thought you were this and the other. I'm like, look, that's the personal individual decision that I've made for my specific set of circumstances. I'm not trying to tell people what they can do, where they can do it. I'm just saying how I got my results. I'm very open and very transparent about it. And it's not about handling XYZ or none of that stuff. It's about look, it's pretty much, abductive reasoning. Abductive reasoning, pretty much. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Uh, ab- Abductive reasoning pretty much is taking all of the information up front and come to the most likeliest conclusions before you even get started. So me, I knew that the Mississippi experience wasn't going to work.
Right.
So I knew I had to leave there clearly. Seeing how most people would come back or watch back into the environment after they got either kicked out of the military or got, you know, e- economic, well, not economic, but educationally discharged from their actual college that they had a scholarship at. I'm like,
Yeah,
look, gathering all this information, I got to get the hell out of here, and I need to be able to make sure that I don't come back. If I come back, my grandfather told me, if you come back, you need to have the power to leave like you came, because you don't want to be stuck down here.
exactly. It's never a good idea to go backwards.
Nah, not
Mm.
really.
So, how does she rate on a submissive scale compared to Black women?
Her?
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
is
submissiveness is like part of her culture. This isn't something that needs to be taught. It isn't something like me going after what a woman. I know what a woman should be doing. I don't want it to be something that is forced. I want it something that is to be culturally understood and like really natural. It's
right.
yeah, that's the way that is, and it's like that's how I would want things to actually go. Like I don't want to really sit here and try to make things work in a standard that it just doesn't. It doesn't make any sense.
Right. And you get along with her family and everything like that. Seems like
Oh yeah,
everything's good.
yeah. It's like when people come with these unvarnished opinions about how things actually go. They try to use the kind of cultural narrative. Oh yeah, well y'all not gonna be able to laugh at the same thing, and I'm like, dude, don't nobody give a damn about that stuff. Only
Right.
people who care about this stuff is people who just trying to find their own version of quote unquote dirty Mac and to actually make this stuff actually work and look right for them about why they stuck where they are and why they're around the people that they are actually around. Because here's the thing. And what most people don't get and they don't understand, the women don't want those guys either. That they're
Right.
actually doing all this pro bono work for. The women don't want them dudes either.
Mm.
And a lot of people don't really see that you really don't have to be going around doing all this stuff if you just made the correct cultural choice. And in this culture, I don't have any type of power. And any person who claims that they do is clearly lying.
Right. People like to shame you a lot and things like that. I'm sure you guys laugh at a lot of things together and you get along fine.
Yeah.
You listen to them.
No, it's just that it's pathetic and weak to try to come at a specific situation like that. Now, a better way to actually have this conversation is we got these pre-vetted women that you can
Mhm.
have if you want to give that up. That's the only argument that can be had at this point in time.
Right. Exactly. I agree with that. So, excuse me. All right. So, the next question is, what experiences did you have with ADOS women growing up in Mississippi?
Uh, I mean, I had a steady girlfriend the entire time. Actually, we still talk and they still talk to each other. Yeah.
So you had,
One time she had called and I wasn't there and they were talking on the phone. That was not even a big deal. She went into, because, back then or down there, we had, it's kind of like, this is who you going to be with no
right,
matter what. But she ended up failing a grade. So she ended up failing a grade. So my family's like, you can't be with her. She failed a grade. You both
right,
were supposed to leave at the same time. So if she failed a grade, then we're not even trying to take any chances because there was not any good chances or options in the first place. But
mm-hmm,
that's kind of how it was. I wasn't raised to be out here on this nonsense because the people who couldn't follow a standard, they got kicked out the city. They had to leave and go to another city.
oh wow,
Yeah, that's what it was. Like that's why it's very easy for me to act the way that I act because I know that it works. I know that it works. I don't have to guess about whether this stuff works or not. I know that it works because I am the result and the product of it working. And I know that stuff don't work because they're still out here trying to make it look like it worked when it clearly isn't.
right. So you never really had any bad relationships with ADOS women,
No. But I did realize all the stuff that people are actually talking about within the American experience. Yes, I seen it. I seen it all. Even in the face of when I was in Germany, where there was
mhm,
clearly women just swooping down and just taking black men the hell away from black women. They didn't care it then either. No, they really didn't care. As much as you thought that they would have cared, they didn't because they never ran out of options. Our culture provides women with a ton of options, whether they deserve them or not, rather than the way they look or not. They don't need to bring anything to the table to get all these options in men, because we have like the African American sexual starve out system.
right. So do you think a lot of Black American men, do you think they don't have any standards?
I guess again that's their own individual choice, but I look at standards as in are they really happy about what they're actually doing with
Right,
their standard, who they're actually trying to restrict with their standard. But
right,
I mean, when I look at standards, I need to be able to see that it's working.
hmm,
And this standard is not working for them because they're out here online claiming to be players and all this shit, dealing with all these proto masculine type of techniques to go get women, but they're online with everybody else who supposedly don't have women.
Well,
So
listen,
none of this stuff really makes sense.
listen, we're gonna talk about that later because that's one of my questions. Because I
Okay, all right.
really want to know. Yeah, so we're
Yeah,
gonna save that for later because I got some
yeah.
juicy questions to ask you. But when I was listening to Bernard's a while ago, I think it was about a year ago, I heard you say Black women aren't part of Black people. What did you mean by that? Can you elaborate?
Yes, politically speaking, and otherwise, throughout their track record, they've always acted like a different group of people that is separate from black men. And you have the boomer generation to thank for that. Because if you look around within the black space of YouTube, there is really nobody within their 60s outside of Nagone 11 and Lawrence Guy who actually want to exhibit any type of standards whenever they even come in contact with black women. And it
Right.
is, and it's really no different than in my family. Outside of my dad and my uncle, I have nothing but aunts. And again, they didn't have that sort of problem. It's just that. But if I had to go up to 50-year-old black men that I was raised around in the community,
Mhm.
after my dad had died, we had to lost our standard of living, and we had to move back to the hood. I
Right.
couldn't recommend any one of those men to my aunts. I couldn't recommend any of those dudes. I
Right.
couldn't. So and these were the dudes who was out here trying to teach other people about everything. The people who had one, no experience, and two, they didn't have a track record. But they were around younger people who didn't know the difference because their mothers never had those type of men around who was successful around.
Right.
So yeah, so now these kids actually think the actual standard of masculinity is cool uncle status, trying to be a player status, trying to be a baller status,
Mhm.
dressing like a 15-year-old, like that
No,
kind of
I
stuff.
get it. Yeah, you hate stuff like that. I can tell. You do not like that. When people try to dress like the 90s and, the game and stuff like that, but we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's crazy that you guys say the boomers started it because the boomers had the silent generation, and the silent generation was a good generation of people. So why do you think they failed the boomers so badly?
They didn't fail the boomers. The
I mean,
boomers had choice. The boomers
okay,
had choice in a way that the silent generation didn't have choice. The boomer generation had choice association. Back
right,
then, during the silent generation, you was pretty much lumped in together on one side of town. That's kind of how it was. You could have 4 or 5 uncles and aunts living in the same house. You can do that type of stuff that you think that are exclusive to like immigrants. No, we live like that too. But it's just that once people had the choice of having the government pay for their mistakes, because back
hmm,
then there was really nobody to pay for your mistakes. If you got pregnant, you just got to keep the child, and you got really no cultural help. That's just the way it was. But then, once like the '70s hit, according to my grandfather, that's when everything changed. When these people started getting welfare and started not giving a damn about what they were creating, and those women of the '70s teamed up with the actual boomers to actually create the problem that we have right now.
right. And feminism played a big part in that.
Yeah, and a deliberate choice to have control over the household by picking weak, ineffective men to do so. This was a deliberate choice too.
Exactly. Yeah, and they weren't getting married. Yeah, it was pretty bad. And then I think the Gen Xers and then the millennials and then everybody else followed in their footsteps. So now it's like we're all suffering because of the decisions they made, right?
Yeah, but now that there's options now, like men have to work to get their options, unless, like you say, you're one of these lying ass dudes out here who claim they got the genetic potential to pull anything with just some words, but they still on child support like every other person who didn't do it right. So it's like so it's like, where does this expertise kick in? And how come this expertise didn't kick in before they got into these problems? Like, I don't understand that.
Yeah, they should have been talking about this. It's a little too late now.
Oh
So
yeah, no doubt.
all right, so I'm gonna move on. So I heard you say you were in the military. Tell
Yeah.
me about the military and what made you decide to get into the military.
Actually, my grandfather told me that I had to leave the state, not because I messed up, because there's just nothing else down there at that point. All the factories had left. Like everything was pretty much gone, and not having a car could really damage your economic ability to excel within society down there, especially with no public transportation in like the rural Mississippi area and all that kind of stuff. Because he was the guy
Mhm.
with the car, he was the guy with the car who picked everybody up, who took them shopping and all that kind of stuff. But that kind of system didn't work. So it was kind of like the older people could survive down there because as a retiree, that's a perfect situation, is to have everything within arm's length. But for a person who's trying to get their productivity up in society, this is a bad move because there ain't no jobs. The only thing that are down there is drugs, crime, and killing people for no reason.
Right.
And so, because I failed the ninth grade, because I went ninth, 11th, 12th. I had enough credits to make it to the 11th grade, and then passed all my classes in the 12th grade, and that's how I left. But my second year in the ninth grade, which would be the 10th grade year,
Mhm.
I was, for some reason, they thought, administration was horrific in those schools back in the day. So I was slotted to take the ASVAB exam, which is the test for the actual military, when I actually was
Mhm.
supposed to not take it. So I took the test and I scored really high on it, and then I had my way out. And I knew at that point in time that I was going to be in the Air Force.
Mhm.
I think the summer of that year, um, yeah, I went to summer school to actually get more credit so that way I could be in the 11th grade. And that's when I was able to meet with like the recruiters and all that kind of stuff. And actually, I knew where I was going to go and I knew exactly when I was going to leave
Right.
at that point. So that's how I got into the military. Fast forward, graduation night, I walked off the stage with the diploma and I went straight to the Air Force that night, graduation night. Like as soon as I walked off the stage, I went straight to the military.
Yeah. So that's something that you really, really wanted to do.
No,
Because a lot.
no. I really wanted to, really, really, really wanted to get the hell out of Mississippi.
So that's what made you leave. You just wanted to leave Mississippi altogether. So you was
Correct.
like, this is a way out.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. And
But I had uncles and stuff too who went overseas. I never really paid attention to, even though it was pretty clear that they have very, very much functional households versus all my aunts, who would actually be talking a whole bunch of cold cash shit about those foreign women when they would come over or they would bring them over for the actual holidays and stuff. But yeah, that's what it is.
so when you got into the Air Force, is that when you realized SYSBM was the way for you? Because you started traveling, seeing new things.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because it was very not natural outside of my grandfather, and my father's household. Because once we lost our standard of living, we ended up in the projects, and there was like it was kind of like a square block of houses that was surrounded by nothing but projects. So we were like in the house, and then we were surrounded by nothing but projects. So once, and I was in that environment what 3 years, and there was really not that much problems. But my younger brothers and sisters below me living in that type of condition for a very long time, it really affected their outcomes and their outlook on life and everything else because they didn't have like that later half of really pushing them out the door. Like you got to leave, and this is what you got to think about, and all that kind of stuff. And that's how they kind of stayed stagnant in those situations beyond high school a hell of a lot longer than they should have been.
Right. Makes a lot of sense. And then also we know that you're a man of many hats. Like you own different businesses, correct?
Yeah.
So what made you decide to own a strip club?
Well, there was a partnership, and once he went to jail, I realized what the fuck I got myself into because I just put the money up and we just split it. But I didn't know what type of operation that was running out of that place until he went to jail, and I had to kind of take over operations, and I really wasn't messing with that shit like that.
Right.
Not at all. I mean, it wasn't the sexual things that I had a problem with. It was more of the drug running and all that other stupid shit that was going on in there that clearly didn't need to be. And I was a dude like, hey man, y'all got to go. And he was like, the fuck? This is our hangout spot. I'm like, yeah, you gonna find another one.
Right.
And there was like, man, it wasn't even like this when homeboy was around. I'm like, he ain't around because he's locked up. What's going on here?
Right.
I mean, I was trying to bring, civility to uncivilized fucking people. That's pretty much what it was. I'm like, man, this ain't working. I'm trying to. It was just hard. I mean, outside of the actual job itself. I mean, most of it is just putting out fires and
Right.
and kicking people out of shit and stopping women from doing business in the parking lot and trying to get the place shut down. Just all kind of stupid shit.
Yeah, and I know how strippers are. It probably was a lot of fights, fights, and
Oh my god. Oh my god. Like you have to understand that most of these women, as good looking as they are, that's all they can do is take their clothes off in front of strangers. I had to like send a car, go pick these bitches up, go get them something to fucking eat, go to make sure that
Mhm.
everything's fucking done for them. And it was just babysitting a whole bunch of grown ass fucking women. It's shit. I just got tired of this shit.
It wasn't your thing. Okay, so do you consider? All right. So, do you think that makes you a pimp? Because it sounds like a pimp to me.
No,
No?
no,
You was the owner of a strip club. You was taking care
yeah,
of women. You was paying
yeah.
them. You don't think that's pimping?
No, I mean, the only thing they wanted to do was walk around in high price shit and stun on other bitches. Like,
Yeah.
they really didn't need no fucking money. Hoes don't need no goddamn money.
Yeah, they're making their own in tips. Yeah, but
Yeah. Oh,
I can imagine a drama you were being put in and everything.
yeah,
You,
and that's what made me shut the shit down. And like the height of the shit, man, I couldn't fuck with it. I'm like, okay, clearly you bitches can take any. I'm sorry, women can take anybody out of this fucking club. They would make you a fucking housewoman, but you just want to take your clothes off in front of many different strangers, just for the attention of doing so. Like,
right.
what's going on here?
Well, did you get into any fights because of them?
Me getting in fights?
Yeah, because of the women.
No, nah. No, I had my own crew in there. We were armed. Very, very fucking clear that if somebody stepped out of line, we beat up a lot of fucking people. A lot of people. We were
Right.
looking forward to that shit. I just couldn't wait for a motherfucker to start, cause there was pimp who would fall through.
Wait, I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
No, there was pimps who would fall through because the last guy who who um who owned it was a fucking pushover. And this how all this shit got started getting ran out of the goddamn spot, and
Hmm.
that's what it was. And so, you know, no, they'll start running their mouth like these niggas online, and we put them hands on their motherfucking ass quite
So,
quickly.
so you did get into a
Hell yeah, right. Hell yeah, I enjoy beating up them fast talking, highly feminized motherfuckers. Yes,
right. Do the guys in this space remind you of them?
all the way remind me of all them motherfuckers.
So
All the
that
way.
that's probably what gets under your skin so much.
Yeah, because I know these dudes are going through pure hell at the house while they out here trying to act like they running shit. Just like all them dudes who showed up at the strip club. I'm like, okay, these dudes got all this shit under control everywhere else. They got all this game and shit. But they're in front of women that they can't fucking take home and they buying drinks for women and shit. Like, what the fuck is this?
Right. Now, question, was it a hood spot and was it in Mississippi?
No. No, it was in Denver.
Or was it in Denver?
Hmm.
Okay, so it wasn't that hood. It was kind of like in a good area and everything.
No, it was a middle class area. I mean, like, you can have hood clubs, you can run into those hood club kind of problems. No, like that ain't what you want to deal with. No, no. I mean, hood clubs, the motherfuckers change ownership very quickly, and no. No, we had like upper class clientele, like where the club was at was like a place where a lot of military industrial complex people worked. for like Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman and Boeing and where all these super Christian motherfuckers are at and shit.
Yeah,
And they end up off in the fucking club, even though they just left church and shit. All right, man. Yeah. So that's what it is.
right. So did you have like the top tier women there, or you just brought anybody in?
Oh hell no. No. Like most of the top tier women got respect. Most of the low tier women wanted to provide sexual favors to start getting up on stage and shit. Like I wasn't with that shit because
Hmm.
the club was supposed to have the finest women here to attract the men to come here.
Right.
So I didn't get big bitches coming in and all of a sudden they're like bullying to like like the size 6 buck 05 women. You got
Yeah.
one big ass, you know what I'm saying? Still look okay, but clearly was just trying to just muscle these fucking young hoes around, man. I'm like, no, man, like we can't have that. You know?
Yeah, yeah, I hear you, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, with everything being said, what made you start a trucking company?
Um, after my mom had died, I had a lot of shit that I on my mind that I needed to think about, and I was because my brother owned a trucking company at the time, and I was helping him a lot because he had child support issues and shit. Because like in the state where he's at, the woman can just say that you kind of missed out on your child support shit, and it has to go all the way to the court system before the shit is actually true or false. But you can lose your license right away while they waiting on the shit pending in the actual court system. What's going
Right.
on, Sister George?
Hi, Sister George. Hi, Queen. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. So that's what it was, and I actually went on like a cross country trip, and I was shocked and surprised at how much money this dude was making, even though I was quote unquote helping him out for free. I'm like, because I was an IT project manager at the time, so I was flying around the country, getting yelled at over people that I can't fire. The same shit at the strip club, just you walk in, all these people, you don't know nobody, you hate everybody, and that's it for that meeting. Next thing you know, you're on a
Yes.
plane to plane to Seattle. A whole bunch of people who look alike with the same last names. You have to like explain why projects are behind. I'm like, well, the projects are behind because all these motherfuckers got the same last name and they're not in IT, but they're doing IT work and they're hiring people. So what you think that environment's gonna look like? So yeah, nah.
Well, yeah. So I heard that, you made millions. When did you see your first million?
Probably about 4 years in.
Okay, and that was with the strip club and the trucking company combined, or do you have
Oh,
any other?
no. I left all that shit behind once I got into trucking business. Nah.
Okay,
Because the money was too easy to get. And yeah, you can make a lot of money. It's just that your city has to be set up a certain type of way. And the actual money in trucking didn't come from equipment. It came from understanding the business itself, understanding the process of the business itself
yes,
of why this stuff needs to move, how it moves. Like you learn that every customer has like 5 or 6 components that formulate this customer, different customers, they're different types of third party logistics companies, just all types of stuff.
right. So you basically learned the ins and outs of the company, and that's how you saw your first million.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. What advice would you give to any black men out there trying to make a million?
Learn about the process of what you're trying to get into. Stop just trying to benefit off of stuff because you can benefit off of it. You got to be able to invest the time into whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. You're gonna have to understand the process of beginning all the way to end. It doesn't come from the labor. It comes from understanding the process itself.
Right, that's good advice. Exactly, that's great advice. So, excuse me.
Yeah, but it's kind of hard though for them to get it. And let me explain strong vision. Let me explain why they can't get there, because it's these environments that they actually stay in for a long ass time that really saps their actual creativity and their ability to learn new things.
Right.
And then you got these old whack people, these older, 50-year-old fuck niggas, who who are like the leaders of that environment. And these are the dudes who are actually trying to turn them dudes into the Bravo Alpha Novembers of tomorrow. They're not trying to give them a heads up on anything, because if they gave them a heads up, then they pretty much wasted their time and
Mm-hmm.
being over there. That's how that works. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to socialize failure as a normalcy rather than giving people access to better options, because they didn't have better options either. So they're trying to keep their leadership up by feeding these dudes into these older women of the environment itself.
Right. Right. So I'm gonna move to the next question now.
All right.
What made you want to become a police officer?
Hey, that's just what happened when I left Mississippi. I took anything that went with it. And as you can see, being a cop, which is like the open general of the Air Force, like they're hiring cops all the time. Nobody wants the job or any of that other stuff, and it's just long hours and really no. It's just a bad job. But I'm glad I took it, and I'm glad I seen that ability of it, because it kept me being a hell of a lot more focused and disciplined in that environment where I clearly didn't need enough time to be around them. Clearly not enough time to do what everybody else was doing within the environment. So I really still liked it. And actually, being a cop, you can go a lot of places in the United States that you can't go with any other career field in the Air Force. So I got to go to a hell of a lot of cool ass places.
Right. So, I mean, have you learned about Black relationships while being a police officer? Police officer. Sorry. Like, what have you learned about Black relationships while being a
Oh, you
police
know,
officer?
I was baptized in black relationships. Everybody's relationship was falling apart everywhere. When you is stationed with like a squadron of like 800 people, and you're around a good 40, 50 people because you work together all the time, and you
Mhm.
actually go out together, you eat together, you train together, you go to firing together. So you know everything about these people's families. You know about when they met the girl, when they got together, when they had a kid, when they got married, when things were going on rocks,
Yeah.
when they was on their way out, who cheated on who, all that type of stuff. So it was like 25 years of like relationship experience all packed into like 5.5 years of being around this group of dysfunctional people.
Right.
Yeah.
And what about other Black people? Did they look at you like a pig, or those other names they call cops? Did they not respect you because you was a cop?
I didn't care about this shit. I mean, because most of my stuff was high end security for actual assets and resources. Like I wasn't really that much law enforcement. Like like back then, it was three different career fields. That is actually one career field now in the Air Force. Like back when I went in, there was actual security police.
Hmm.
Then there was law enforcement, and then there was combat arms training. So now the actual people who used to do security, like the security that I did was like for high end weapons, nuclear weapons, president of the United States if they ever come to town, like really classified kind of stuff.
Oh, so you weren't just like a regular police officer out in the streets. You had a different title.
Yeah. Now but the career fields combined, and then that's how I got into the law enforcement shit. Like, like I never wanted to be the law enforcement shit, but they kind of put us all together in a group, and that's how I ended up doing all this stuff. So I ended up liking that better because nothing really happened for like
Mhm.
the because if somebody crossed the line, you're pulling guns out, and then they're gonna get on the ground, and then they go into federal prison. That's what it was. Like you're not approaching no F-16 or any type of cargo plane or any of that other stuff.
Right.
But then like it got very interesting because you started doing the law enforcement stuff was it kind of combined. and we thought we were getting off, but they were actually making us work like the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday shit because that's when all the shit happened. So they was like, why don't we put the young dudes out there and let them go deal with all this stuff while we sit here and do the high end security piece? So I figured out that's what they were actually doing. So it's like, you go to a club, there's a big ass fight, and you got to sort stuff out and testify at court martials and all that kind of stuff. People get locked up for a whole bunch of time. So yeah, it wasn't what I went in for, but that's what it turned into. And that was kind of the only skill that I had when I got out. So I had to do that for a little bit. And then I moved from that to like being a fugitive recovery agent, which people call a bounty hunter. And then that's when I got into IT. So.
Well, what was the most dangerous situation you were put in? If you can give me an example of it.
Dangerous? I mean, it was always dangerous. I mean, it's, you got two weapons on you. And if something happens, it's either you have to shoot or your ass is going to get in a lot of trouble. That's what it is. I mean,
but did you ever, I'm sorry, I was going to say, did you ever get into something where you had to shoot or you almost had to shoot, or where somebody tried to grab your weapon or something like that?
Well, in the Air Force, you can't just shoot somebody. The Air Force wants you to take an ass whooping more than anything else.
Right.
Even though you got weapons. So, now like the highest security, no, shoot to kill. You step over the line, you get way too close to these weapons, especially when they're taking nuclear weapons out of the ground and they're working on them in the wide open. Yeah, they're not playing with that. But like the actual law enforcement piece of it, yeah, you're walking around in this hokey uniform. Oh, look it up. Dress blues for the Air Force. Yeah, man, we caught plenty of hands in those suits, and you had no chance to get to a weapon. You're walking into a situation, you don't know what's going on. They want you to wear this stupid ass tie in this situation. Every time people grab you by the tie, yank you to the ground, all types of stupid shit. So yeah, man, we took plenty of L's.
Yeah, it sounds crazy. It sounds too dangerous.
It was, and it's like every domestic is a potential situation for you yet again to get your ass whooped.
Yeah, I couldn't. Well, was there any females there?
Oh yeah, a lot of them.
Was it like equal to the men, or was there a lot less women there?
No, it was a smattering of it. I would say less than 5% per unit.
Okay. Yeah, because I was thinking my aunt was in the Air Force and she said she loved it.
Oh, as a woman in the Air Force, you would love it.
Yeah, she said that. Yeah, so I mean, I wouldn't ever get into any branch of the Army, but it's probably not as bad as I think it would be. Somebody actually told me I would like it, so
You would. I mean, it's just that it's about the career field that you choose and the path that you choose and the basis that you want to be on. Like, if I had to do it all over, I probably would have been an administrative troop. I probably would have been highly clowned for not really while being in the military, by not really having to go through anything. But it would have been the best off thing because I didn't want to go dying for these dumbass people anyway. I didn't want to do that shit. I didn't even like these people. Couldn't stand them.
Like somebody said, I would be, what did he say? I would be in the Coast Guard. Is that true, MOT? That was something I would like?
Hell no. Nah. You'd be giving out basketballs at the fucking gym. Get out of here.
The easiest job. And if that's the easiest job, then I want it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are some of the places you've seen in the Air Force?
I went all over Europe and Asia. Obviously, the European theater. I was stationed in Germany, but I went to England and France and Hungary and all of Europe and most of Asia. I didn't go to China. I've been to Egypt.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it was like, special projects and stuff. So, if like something happened overseas, like if there's like a BOM being overseas or any type of international dust up, if a politician goes overseas, they always have a contingent of Air Force people, us, our career field that actually go and shuttle the person around pretty much.
Right. So, what was your favorite place to go?
No, it was
Where?
still Germany. No, it was still Germany. It
Yeah.
was still Germany. It was still a great place, and I liked it. I always do like that place, and I have nothing bad to say about it. Everything worked. You know, yeah, I really, really, really like Germany because it really opened my eyes up to choice for myself, and I really seen that what happens if these people actually did have the actual ability to be challenged within the environment, and the answer was they didn't give a damn. They were no, there was so many dudes pre-printed into the simp lifestyle and, and the waiting for women to respect you kind of business model that they were never going to run out of men. Every 3 weeks there was another group of 200 people for all these dudes raised in the same exact environments that I was in to be there trying to sift through all the stuff that's already there. So yeah.
Wow. Well, how does Germany compare to the US?
No, it's just it's different. You don't get to go around disrespecting people. There's really no such thing as trolling and all that stupid ass shit. No, you can't deny the Holocaust. You take your ass to prison for life, and everything works. The police don't ride around with the ability to try to collect revenue off the public. Like the police have barracks, just like the fire department have barracks. If you're not fire departmenting, you stay your ass in the fire department. Like if you're not out of the police station for a very specific reason, your ass is at the police station.
Right. So, so how are the women there?
Yeah, they're pretty like food and held in control. Can you still hear me?
You there? Yeah, I hear you now. Okay, what did you say?
Yeah, yeah. My little brother just gave me a call. I don't know what's that about. But yeah. So pretty much, in Germany they have legalized prostitution.
Oh,
Very
interesting.
legalized. Yeah, very much everywhere. So the German women know that they could be replaced in a second if a dude just wanted to go get his rocks off. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no
Yeah.
need for a game or a hustle or any of that shit because some of the finest women that you ever want to meet are already giving that shit up already. So,
Right.
so there's no need for any starvation type diet, and then you feast out on like the biggest pounder that you can see, and then claim that you run in the environment after you get access to it. That sort of thing. Over there, yeah, you could just pull up, pay, and that's just the end of it. And the great thing was is that like the domestic American women, they didn't give a shit because, like I said, there's enough black dudes that would still want to play their particular type of business model, even around legalized prostitution. Because
Right.
they have this type of I don't know, pride maybe, but but
Yeah.
for everybody else, nobody really cared, and I really don't care, and I think that the only way you can even the odds within society is to legalize prostitution. So that way, how the German women were acting over there, they knew if you got access to that legalized prostitution, there ain't no way they had a chance at a relationship.
Yeah.
Like the black women didn't give a shit. That was depending on the dudes and the shame factor of even doing like man, hell no. So it's like over there, your attention is repaid with either girlfriend or direct access to sex. Over here, your stuff is repaid with whatever it's repaid with, most likely lying about your experiences about what's going on within the environment. That's how it is. So
Right. But so do you think we sh- we should legalize prostitution here?
yes,
Oh, you do? Why is that?
it would bring women a lot of humble back to the table rather than having all these sites based on dudes paying for pictures of actual women. They can actually pay for actual women and get what they actually need and get off the field. So it would depress the market and the women's power within the environment if everybody can just go get laid.
Right.
So
So you think the do you think the pride thing would change?
Yes, the price will go down, way down.
Okay. Makes sense. Yeah, because that would really humble a lot of these black women over here if
Oh,
we
sure.
can utilize it. Forget about it. They'll know that they're replaceable and they'll act different, in my opinion.
Okay, okay. Think about this. Let's say that you had access, or me. Sorry. Don't want to put you in that situation. Let's say that I had access to Amber Rose in her fucking prime before she started getting into the music industry and fuck with all those dudes. And I could just pay whatever amount to get access to her, and then I'm off doing my own shit, concentrating on what I need to concentrate on in life, rather than trying to lie like and spend all this time trying to gain access to somebody like that, knowing I only want temporary access. I don't want to take the shit home,
Right.
and it would be better off. And most dudes who are actually getting it against it are the dudes who are, Bravo Alpha Novembers. You got
Hmm.
that crew of people who really don't, they really want the woman's power to stay to where it is, because if men actually got their shit together, they don't need unfeminine women, and they don't want those women either. That's the
Right.
other thing. Yeah, because they want you to stay and compete with them. So that way they can feel good about not actually engaging in the actual women. They're just socializing other people to engage with those actual women.
Makes sense. So, but what if they legalize it and because of pride, people have too much pride, men don't use it.
No, men will use it. They will.
You think they'll definitely use it.
Of
But they,
course.
they
I mean,
might be
like,
shamed. People will shame them. Oh, you're a trick. You know how they do in this
good.
space. You know how they do in this space. Oh, you're a trick. This,
Melody. but,
yeah.
but, but Melody, we got child support dudes calling people tricks.
Mm, true. True. You got a point there.
We got dudes who don't have single custody of their kids calling people tricks.
Right.
We got dudes who are not even pimps saying that they understand the game. And they're not pimps. So it's like, what's less embarrassing? Paying money and get a specific piece of ass that you can touch and interact with, or pretend like you're getting ass that you don't interact with or touch. It's mathematically simple.
Right. I'm sorry. Excuse me. 1 second. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My dogs were barking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get exactly what you're saying because black men pride themselves on free pussy. I'm sorry to say
Yeah.
that.
Regardless of how it looks. Regardless of how it looks and how it operates and how it acts. They just want the free shit.
They want
They
the
want it. Yes, they do.
yeah. So that brings me to the next question. I notice you have a lot of animosity towards game dudes. Is
Yeah.
there a particular reason for that?
Well, I wouldn't call it animosity. I would
Right.
call it unquenchable thirst and hatred for those type of people. Animosity is just it's like confection of sugar on top of a cake. No, it's way deeper than that. But it's just that the fact that they're not even interacting with the product that they want everyone else to deal with. And they skip out on all these cases within the United States, no matter whether it's Dr. Dre or Johnny Depp or any of those other people who've lost everything in their life. But these people make specific claims that they have certain type of information that you could talk to these people about that millionaires are not using to keep their relationship going.
Right. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Y'all may laugh, but I seen Game Blunts today in Cleveland, Ohio. I seen Game
Mm-hmm.
actual like Black and Mild. They look like Black and Milds.
Uh-huh.
Them shits are called Game.
It
I'm
says
going down there.
game.
Yes, it's called Game, and it's a registered trademark. I'm gonna go down there and I'm gonna take another picture of it because I just couldn't believe the shit when I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, game it seems like game is big these days. It's just a lot of people who believe in game and believe
No,
game works.
it's not that. It's a justification for doing something idiotic and dumb because they think there's a payout for it at the end of the day. That's all it is. It really isn't anything else other than that. That's
Right.
all it is. I was like, okay, plausible deniability. I'm gonna still do something that's not gonna be able to net me a specific type of outcome because these guys are talking about it, and the people who are talking about the show no proof. But you're supposed to believe everything that they say according to the product. And the only thing they have is gaslighting and acting like women and not really answering questions or acting like they can't hear or throughout the conversation rather than just provide proof. It's literally that which can be asserted without evidence can be dismissed without evidence.
Right.
That's how simple that is. It's like, look, I own a trucking company. I can show you the truck that I drove now. It's not hard. There's a DOT number and a MC number that you can look up. You can see the actual safety statistics for the company, blah, blah, blah. Certain databases you can go to. You can see how big the company is. You can see much money I poured in for the last 5 years. Not really hard. Pretty damn specific for the damn industry. But when it comes to these people, all they got is claims. And all these people who want it to be true. Like there's a lot of people who want it to be true rather than it's actually practically true. That's the problem.
Yeah, but what makes you think it don't work? It works for some people.
Yeah. So does falling out of airplanes without parachutes. But the thing is, there's
Silly.
not that many people. There's not that many people who you can actually go to for the verification process. Because most of this belief, Melody, is about suspending disbelief. It's about suspending disbelief. Like that's how it becomes true. You suspend disbelief, then it works for you. Like that's how they want this stuff to work.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of men in this sector talking about how game works for them.
Yeah,
That's what I
okay.
mean where
Yeah,
that's what I
yeah.
mean where it works for some people. They claim they get the girls they want. They claim they don't have to trick on the girls to get them, and it works for them. So what do you have to say about that?
And then they turn around and want us to compete within the same marketplace that they so-called want complete access to. This is why it blows the whole thing out the window. If you are having more access with no competition, that would make you happier. But wanting everybody to compete within the same system that's not working for you makes you sadder. How does it make you sad that you don't have 100% access and no competition when it comes to things?
Hmm. Well, I don't know about that. They say it works, so
Yeah,
who
yeah. Like,
knows?
well, would you put your money in? Okay, let's look at the people who say it's successful for them. Would you want to put your money in the bank of game where you you don't get a receipt, you don't know what's in it, you don't know what's out of it, but at the end of the day, how do you prove that it's true if you can't go out there and demonstrate it?
So you're saying pretty much they don't show receipts. They talk a lot of mess, but they don't show their receipts.
And here's the thing: they're claiming the women, but the women ain't claiming them. How does that work? You're claiming all this game, but the women ain't claiming you. What's happening here? Like, am I the only person who see this?
Right. So, I mean, there's different parts of games. Like I interviewed ARC. Everybody know who ARC is. His game is mode 1. Mode 1 works for him. It might not work for you, but it works for him.
Hmm.
So, you don't think game works for some people? Maybe not for you.
No, I mean, if it worked, then there would be actual proof that it worked. Like we know that Usain Bolt is the world record holder in the 100 and the 200-meter sprint. You want to know why? We got the world record on video. We got it on video. It's that. Now, me and ARC disagree when it comes to mode one. I don't want to go into re-slicing the dude's head off about that. But yeah, I mean, what it does, it puts everybody else in a position of proving that they're mode one,
Mm-hmm.
but not him to prove that he's mode one. So what it does, it comes up with a standard and it swaps the burden of proof from the person who came up to it to the people who are practicing it and saying that they receive results from it. That's all it is.
So, what's wrong with competition?
What kind of competition? And from what standpoint?
Like the game dudes. What's wrong with, them competing? You
They're
competing
not
with.
talking to women. They're not talking to women. They're trying to make it look like they are so much of the women's choice. Listen to them for even more information. Like these dudes are not talking to these women. The women come around because it's free attention. It's free promotion for their product. I get why women like being around game dudes because they are the preeminent person who benefits from game. Women benefit from game. Men don't benefit from game.
How so?
Women benefit from because look, if you have dudes who are socializing a whole bunch of dudes into a system that works,
Mm-hmm.
and there's proof of it, then it makes sense. But if you have this stuff and it don't work, then it doesn't make any sense.
Right. I understand what you mean. And it seems like you have a lot of haters. I got so many thumbs down. People never thumbs down my stuff. I might
How
only
many
have,
you got?
I might only have like up to 4 or 5 thumbs down. But today, let me see what I got now. I have, sorry, 13 thumbs down.
Woo!
It seems
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm
look,
talking about.
right. So it seems like you made a lot of enemies due to your political views.
I don't
How
care. I don't care. I don't care. Start talking about political shit the correct way and stop being a goddamn grifter. You'll be fine.
Well, how do you deal with that? Having different like views than other men, and you guys are always arguing. How do you deal with the pressure?
It's no pressure dealing with cowards. Like for all these people who know shit about politics, where are their streams debunking minds? There are no streams debunking minds because my shit has history and examples and track record and all that shit associated with it. Most of these people are conservative because black women don't act properly. And that's one of the dumbest reasons that I've ever heard of for somebody associating themselves with a political party is to try to get somebody back to the goddamn table. Stupid as hell.
Yeah, I know nothing about political things, but I
And,
know
and
that
Melody, and Melody, guess what? That's perfectly fine. Melody,
right.
they can't even be that honest. They can't even be that honest.
So you're saying they pretend to know about
Yeah.
political things and they really
Oh,
don't?
of course, yeah. I mean, they're nothing but culture warriors. When people want to fight the culture warrior by not moving on to other people,
Hmm.
and like, here's the thing that they don't understand that me and women do understand about these dumbass people.
What's that?
If you're going to take them back at the end of the day, regardless of how they acted, you don't have any leverage. You don't have any leverage. They don't need to act right. They're never going to get in shape. They're never going to do anything that you say. Why? There's no fear of reprisal. They've already told them that they're coming back to the table. And every single time they're saying, oh, well, you know what? The economy's going to crash. And then they're going to come running back. Okay, economy crashed. World fell apart. A lot of people lost their jobs. Did these women come back to the table? No. Who took responsibility for selling that nonsense? Nobody.
Yeah, I mean, but you do seem to make the most sense when you talk about politics. Like I say, I don't know anything about them, but when you talk, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's all I know.
Yeah. It's just that, look, I'm not trying to be on the side that I don't get anything out of.
Right.
I'm not going to do that. Why would I? Because most of these people, Melody, like things the way that it is currently.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the real issue here. They like things the way it is, and the only way they can protect the environment the way it is to not make any type of meaningful progress or fight in ineffective ways. You have all these political experts, but nobody ever jumps up on panels because outside of their culture warrior talking points, they don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
They just don't. And it's
Because
very taboo for a man with his shit together to just laugh them off. That never happens within Black America. Black America let clowns stay around forever and really don't do anything about them. That's
right.
normally what they're used to, because there's several terms that Bravo Alpha November's use, like oh, you got to respect the hustle. It is what it is. It's all these other things
Mm-hmm.
because they don't want to make any progress, and they think that they're way too far behind to actually get engaged when that's not the case.
Right. Yeah, because everybody, it seems like I'm gonna say 90% of the manosphere is Trump supporters.
They're not Trump supporters. They're just dudes who don't know anything about politics, and the only way that they can actually seem like they're actually interested in politics is by calling themselves a conservative. Conservative has principles and it has policies that it's actually based on.
Hmm.
And you can't call yourself part of a political party but never discussing what's actually in the political party itself. That's all it is.
Right. Okay, well, I think I asked enough questions. I want to open up the panel. Is it okay to open it up? Because I know you have a lot of people who don't like you.
I don't give a shit about what they do like and don't like. I just won't address them.
Damn.
Now
Well,
we know who's gonna come up. All the cows who hit the thumbs down in the panel on the show with their private TPOT vote system that don't let you see who actually voted for what, so that way you can hold them responsible in the future. That's all.
right. Okay, so let me see. I thought I wrote down another question for you. I might have put it in my phone. Hold on, let me look at my phone. 1 second. Because I was really trying to think of some good questions for you. Oh, do you need leverage if you have game?
No, game is a systematic system of surrender. Game is not a position of power. It's a systematic system of surrender.
Right. So what is a ban? BAN.
Oh, a bitch ass nigga. That's it.
Okay, yeah, I heard you say that before, so I wanted to know. I was curious. Okay. All right, so let me just put the link down because that's all I really have for you.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
I big deal.
Uh, yeah, so hit the StreamYards link, guys. If you have any questions to ask MOT, come on up. Let's keep it respectful. It's okay to get into debates and disagreements, but let's not curse each other out. I
Yeah,
don't
but
want
here's
to.
the other thing. I'm not trying to take women's options away. I just want to give men more options. That's it. It's not hard. I'm not trying to storm the community and like take pookies out of the beds of these women. I'm not doing that.
Exactly. All right. So, do you have any message for them, for the haters out there?
I don't even care about them. I got too much shit going on in real life to be worried about somebody trying to be my supervillain on YouTube without going through the actual things that they actually disagree with and give their opinion on it.
Right.
It's just childish.
Oh, we have somebody. Whoa. Hi, Game Changer.
GC,
Hey, what's going on, Melody? MOT, how y'all doing?
what's going
We're
on?
doing good. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. Just put the YouTube on the other screen right quick.
So, what
Hey,
questions do you have for MOT?
well, I just had one question, really. MOT, so you familiar with the movie Hitch, right? Because I'm gonna do that for movie night tonight.
No, I don't think I watched that.
So Hitch, it was Will Smith. He was a dating coach, and what he did was he set guys up by creating a proper circumstance. Now he's like a dating advice person. However, he did it with for like individual. He wasn't trying to make men into ladies' men. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
he just did it like, okay, you like this woman, I can help you get this one individual woman. I'm not trying to get you out to be a player.
Oh, okay.
So,
That makes sense.
so would you say that that's a game nigga or game
Mm,
dude?
is it he's trying to hook men and women up equally across the board, or he's going trying to get men onto women? Like, what are the quality of these women that he's trying to get people onto?
Some
Were there good
cases,
options?
well, no, some cases the woman may have been considered out of their league, but
Oh, okay.
what Hitch does is he does like a icebreaker type deal, because a lot of times, I'm pretty sure ARC will back me up on this. A lot of times it's really just proper setting, like proper circumstance.
That's what I always agree with ARC on. Just
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So like sometimes it's just proper setting. So what he does is he sets the situation up. Like, okay, it's better if you just like meet her, as she's going to work, and you drop your soda and pick it up, and your eyes just meet in this romantic setting, or I don't know, I don't do stuff like that, but I'm just saying he sets it up. That's his field of expertise. Now he's not out trying to say you should be a player, or something is wrong with you if you're not, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All he's saying is like, I increase your odds of getting this particular woman. Would
Okay.
you classify that as a game dude? We're talking about game dudes just now.
Probably. Probably at the end of the day, yeah, I guess. I mean, he'll. Okay, let's say that we have a 50% marker and like the game versus non-game. He would be leaning into the game category.
Okay.
Even though his stuff would be a hell of a lot more legitimate than some guys just flat out lying out here, at least he is trying to service, and he's just not on here. And I would suggest somebody like Hitch probably has a track record. People and clients, satisfied clients,
Yeah,
right?
he only advertised through word of mouth.
Oh shit. Well,
He only
I mean,
takes the client.
I know it's a movie setting, but yeah.
Yeah, he only takes the clients that actually want to get into long-term relationships with the highest beautiful women that they desire. So you teach them mating strategies how to get it.
Yeah, but you can have that particular strategy and just pick the type of women overall that's going to have the body type and what you actually want. Like, I think where people go wrong at is they try to make this dating market into something of their own. Damn the consequences. They want to deal with the consequences after the refractory period. And it's like, you really have to think about the culture of the people who you're dealing with
Like,
before you actually started to go forth and deal with them in the first place. So,
So
All
we
right.
have ARC on the panel. Hi, ARC.
What's happening, Melody?
Hi,
oh my
thanks
how you
God,
doing, Mr.
what's
Curry?
going on?
What's up, fellas? Well, since my name got brought up, that's the only reason I jumped on the panel.
Of course.
But now people would expect me to, initiate some kind of contentious exchange with Manna tomorrow. But I will say
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
he's entitled to his opinions on my Now, see, what most people don't know, may not know, at least MOT is fair and balanced. In the same way he has some criticisms of my Mode 1 approach, he has on more than one occasion praised my book, The Beta Male Revolution. He actually invited me
His best book,
to an
his best book,
interview
by the way.
to do it. Yeah, he invited me to do an interview on his channel for the Beta Male Revolution show. He's always giving me kudos on the Beta Male Revolution. So that lets you know if he criticized Mode 1, it's not a personal thing against me, Alan Roger Curry, because if it was a personal thing, he would say, I don't like none of this nigga's books. But he's like, hey, ARC, your book, Beta Male Revolution, is a great read, but I don't agree with your Mode 1 approach. And speaking of Mode 1 approach, I just want to quickly say, in defense of his criticism, or at least one of his criticisms, that I explained it, Melody, if you remember in your interview with me, Here's one of the reasons why I don't, in the PUA community, there is a popular thing known as infield videos, and in more in the black manosphere, they simply call it video receipts. I'm not a fan of those for at least a couple reasons. And again, I explained this in your interview with me. Number one, a lot of infield videos I know for 100% fact are fake. I've literally seen Caucasian PUAs do instructional videos to other Caucasian PUAs where they teach how to make, they use a green screen in combination with hired actresses and hired models. So I would estimate that no less than 1/3 of those, at least the Caucasian infield videos you see, those are fake. They ain't even real. And I know from working in media and entertainment, at least in this country, can't speak for all countries, I can speak only for the United States. If you videotape and or audio tape a woman, you have to do one of two things. You have to either tell her at the beginning, let's say the woman's name is Lisa. I would have to say, hey, Lisa, I got to let you know that this conversation we're about to have, I'm videotaping it and or audio taping it. Or I can engage in a conversation, and right after it's over, I would have to say, Lisa, I have to let you know this conversation we just had, it was videotaped and or audio taped, and I need you to sign this waiver form. If that person, PUA or dating coach, does not do one of those two things, and that woman gets wind that you've uploaded a video or audio tape of her conversation, she can take you to court and sue you. I know of at least one black dating coach. I'm hesitant to say his name, but I'll risk it and go ahead and say his name. There was a guy, a New York-based dating coach named Justin Wayne, that was doing a bunch of infield videos, and he was uploading them to his website. And one white woman's father happened to be a prominent attorney in Manhattan. He was about to sue Justin Wayne out the fucking ass, to the point where Justin Wayne actually left the country to avoid getting sued by this dude. And it's for the reasons that I explained. You cannot do that. You cannot just videotape, secretly videotape or audio tape a conversation with a woman unless you, A, let her know, either preferably before the conversation, at minimum at the conclusion of the conversation, and you have to have her sign a waiver. Again, if you don't do that, that person, and you upload that to a commercial-oriented site, they can sue the fuck out of you. So that, among other reasons, is why I don't get into the whole. And plus, people in my real life, people like, say, I went to high school with, college with, people I've interacted with in my real life, they know I'm the real deal. I'm on Facebook. Okay. I got all my friends from high school, college, and otherwise. If I was some kind of fraud, motherfuckers would call me out. Who hung around me in real life? They would be like, Alan, come on, man. You exaggerating.
ARC.
That's why I wanted to emphasize what he was saying with MOT about the receipt thing and stuff. I'll let you finish MOT, and then I'll go. You could go ahead.
Yeah. You know, it's clearly your interview, but you go ahead, Mel.
Oh, all right. Yeah. One of the fact that you feel game dudes, and I know you probably lump up every game dude. Or maybe not, but it sounds like you lump up every game dude in one category. And I understand from a certain point of view, yes, some game dudes is you know what I'm saying, false advertised. They vice seem kind of weird, but not all of them. But the fact that the receipt part, one of the points I'll use ARCs with his mode one approach and his verbal seduction. One of the points why a woman will actually engage in casual sex with you is discretion. Why would I want to show pictures of a woman I'm having casual sex with to a bunch of dudes to prove that my strategy works?
Boom.
Yeah.
The receipt you should go to. You should go to.
Here we go.
The receipt that you should go to is the men that I have helped, the men that ARC helps. You read his reviews. That's the receipt, not the people that he use it on, like the girls they use it on, unless they want to take pictures of me. But that might not be credible. Because I could have paid that girl, or she might just help me to lie. Go to the guys that he actually helped. There's your receipts.
The way I
Right.
still look at proof still stands, regardless of what y'all just say. That's how proof works. It can be independently verified. That's how it works. We have,
if you're,
we just had the Olympics, where people got kicked out over doping and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I want to see a Mode 1 Olympic competition. I want to see that. I want to see that discipline be put to the test with cameras on. I want these people to blindly go into an environment and actually show me how they actually explain this stuff without women throwing the actual drinks on there. That's it.
And if they found out that I did this, let's say, for example, if I was to go to Melanie did that, and she finds out, you think she won't take me to court, or even worse?
Listen, man, y'all came up with this standard, man. You
No,
just can't run away from all
came up with that.
verification of proof. You came
Well,
away with all this verification of proof.
If you're talking about now, if you want specific video, and this I'm speaking solely for myself, not for all dating coaches to be you. Now, if people want quote unquote video evidence of me, I already explained why I'm not favor that. But here's where I would say nobody can argue with me. When it comes to audio-based receipts, I would literally dare a motherfucker on the internet to challenge me, because anybody who used to listen to one of these two shows, if not both, my blog talk radio show that I ran for 9 years called Upfront and Straightforward, and or my adults only podcast program called The Erotic Conversationalist, I would dare
How are you
anybody.
upfront and straightforward if we can't talk to the people or see proof? What's going on here? Come on,
Then you know what? I
I
challenge you, MOT. How do we know that your advice works?
Now all not only
Mel, are you serious?
Yes, I am.
What advice?
I'm talking about what you want to throw.
Mel versus what advice? What versus
your
what
advice?
Not only was I Mode 1, demonstrated Mode 1 on those two shows, in some cases, I had women playing with their pussies on live internet radio.
I mean, but that work with bitch ass niggas, man. Like, dude, we're not those people, man. We're rational adults. We're rational adults who's not shocked or surprised by women playing with themselves. Like, dude, like none of that shit matters, bro. It's either your shit work or it don't. That's it.
Have you ever talked to a woman dirty on the phone?
Here's what I want to ask you. What do you define as work, though?
Exactly.
Videotape proof that it worked from beginning to end.
Video on me, what would you define as Mode 1 working?
I want to see you walk up to a woman and do your Mode 1 shit, and not the actual sex or any of that other shit. I just want to see the reaction. That's what I want to see.
And if the woman find out that he shows it on that he does, if he does all that, the woman come after him for court.
Listen, man. I don't care about that. I don't care. About
Yes,
I really don't. I really don't.
Wouldn't be the one being sued.
Exactly.
My standard of proof still stands.
Well,
that's how things get proven.
I'll say this: you are granted your opinion on your standard of proof assertion, and I just came up here to explain for the umpteenth time why I don't get into that stupid shit. Because
it's not stupid.
Among other reasons, it is stupid. If I could be sued for anything,
challenge that.
It's not stupid.
That would mean I'm a goddamn stupid businessman. That would mean I'm a goddamn stupid businessman. If I'm ever going to put myself in a position,
I'm still going to want that proof, though.
I'm a goddamn stupid bullshitman. Period.
Then I challenge you, MOT.
Well, no,
game changer, please. Let me game changer, please. Let me ask you, game changer.
Hold on, guys.
Let me have this game changer, please.
Game changer didn't get to talk at all. So I want to hear what game changer.
Okay. All right, game changer.
I just want to say to Mel, I think we should be out of it because there's history between these two that don't really involve the two.
I know it's history, but that's me. I want to challenge
I'm saying it's better to let them two rock because there's history.
Game changer, please. I'm gonna ask some questions also too. So please stop.
Me and Ella Roger
he said he can handle this.
Respectful conversation, and we are not going to disagree further on this Mode 1 approach.
We're not helping, Mel. Like when they're done, then it's me and you time.
Me and you come. Why you want to be me and you? I didn't come here to challenge you.
I said me against you. I'm saying it'll be our time to say.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll not respect that.
Okay.
Go ahead. I will say in Mel's defense and his contribution to our discussion, other than the legal stuff already spelled out, and I've talked about this on my channel. Mel brought up a good point. Is one of the things I emphasize in my book, Who Said Again, is being discreet. See. The women I've had casual sex with, I would never want to show no videotape or no audio tape.
Are you embarrassed about how they look?
Unless they was cool with it. Now, if they
Are you
was
embarrassed
cool
about how they
with it-
look?
You said what?
Are you embarrassed about how they look?
I ain't embarrassed by no woman I've had sex with.
Oh, okay. So
You haven't
should be able to see
seen
the
that
proof.
clip. Speaking of video evidence, you haven't seen that clip on my at least 4 or 5 of my videos where
Which
I'm
one?
doing a BDSM training and I'm with 2 women. You ain't seen that?
Listen, I don't think just having
Yes or no? You ain't seen that?
ARC. I don't think talking to women about BDSM is special.
Shit,
Bravo
if
Alpha
I'm
November.
clapping their hands, if I'm
Bravo Alpha
clapping their
November
hands,
think that
yes,
is
it is.
special. Listen, man, we got a 50-year-old having a channel talking to women thinking that's special. I don't think talking to women is special.
You said you wanted video evidence, and now you contradicting yourself.
That's training. That training should be matched up with the actual training that you do with Mode 1. If you can show BDSM training, you can show Mode 1 training out in the field.
No, because these women signed a waiver. That's the difference.
Oh,
they signed a waiver. Again, I explained that. You can show video evidence if a woman's willing. If a woman, like the women I interview on Erotic Conversationalists, those are women, I end up having triple X rated conversations with them. But
I don't care about that. That's not special to me. That's not special to me.
Do that.
It's not special to me. It's not. That's why it don't have any effect on me. Because I'm still going to require proof.
Let me ask you, MOT, since you harping on my evidence. So you're telling me, how old are you?
43.
43. Okay. So from the time you were 18 to now, there hasn't been even one time that you've approached a woman, initiated a conversation, and within 5 minutes or less, just straightforwardly said, I want to share your company in a sexual manner. Not one time.
ARC.
No, you answer the question. Not one time.
ARC, the answer is no. And that is not the standard of my masculinity. That's the standard of a bitch-ass nigga's masculinity. It's not mine. It's dumb as fuck. Yes. Doing something like that is straight and dangerous, bro. Look, come on, man.
Yes, nigga is a
yes,
nigga who
you
are.
What are you talking about? How am I lying to women? I'm just gonna put myself in a dangerous situation.
Alpha male strategies is a bitch ass nigga telling people to lie and manipulate, and you are a follower of that motherfucker. And you gonna tell me
I'm not a follower. I'm a Patreon of his. It doesn't mean that I'm a follower of his.
I'll tell any indirect.
Could you please lower the fire on the buttermilk boil over mode? Yes, you are a bitch ass nigga. Like, look.
Bitch ass nigga.
Okay, so I gotta walk up to a woman and ask her for sex in 5 minutes in order for me to be a verified man. Oh my God! Hell no, I would never do nothing like that. I would never do nothing like that.
Tell a woman straight up you want to fuck her.
That's right.
A man.
You goddamn right. I would never do nothing like that. No, dog. I would never do that shit.
You ain't no man, nigga.
Okay, ARC, you want to talk about the balls? But you ain't got the balls to show us who you fucking with, even though you trying to put a standard on me.
I want to ask you this. MLT, let me ask you this.
No, please.
Let me ask you this.
Wait, hold on, guys. 1 second. Let me say this.
That's why he has to yell and scream because his shit's not true.
Guys, let's let him finish first, MLT, and then I'll go to you, Mel. Okay?
All right. Cool.
That's what he do. Okay. That's what he do when he can't really explain it. When he just starts screaming and yelling. That's what you do. That's what you do. Listen. Yes. Yes, a bitch ass nigga. Bitch ass nigga. That's what it is. Bitch ass.
Yeah, you a bitch ass nigga.
A bitch ass nigga.
You a bitch ass. So we feel like each other's a bitch. You a bitch ass nigga, motherfucker.
I went up to a woman and I asked her for pussy within 5 minutes. Am I not a man? That would be totally what a bitch ass nigga would say and do, and try to schedule their masculinity based around that dumbass shit.
What's your masculinity?
You can't fucking do that.
You buying
motherfucking accomplishment.
Motherfucking you buying bitches from the Philippines, and you a real man on that? You buying a bitch. Listen. You buying a bitch, nigga.
What are you talking about? I'm not a bitch ass nigga. Again, sir. Again, sir. Again. Why are you yelling? Why are you yelling? Why are you like? And guess what, ARC? Even if I bought a ARC, ARC, guess what, dude? Even if I bought a bitch, I wouldn't have got married at 60-year-old nigga. I would have went on and did other shit with my life, nigga. Okay, nigga. Maybe you should have bought pussy, dog. Your ass wouldn't be a 60-ass old nigga on fucking YouTube. You wouldn't be on YouTube talking this whole shit. That's what the fuck you wouldn't be doing. Trying to fucking have me go up against your standard of a bitch ass nigga to prove that I'm a man. Get the fuck out of here. I'm 43 years old and I got my shit to fucking together. A married bitch ass nigga. A nigga who up here trying to say that I asked for pussy within 5 seconds. I'm more man than you. What the fuck, nigga?
Straight up,
ain't no motherfucking way. There ain't no motherfucking way no culture would allow that shit. No, I don't give a fuck about them.
1970s pimp hat to do the shit.
Hey, it's actually 1960.
I'm dealing with them. I tell women straight up while I'm dealing with them.
I don't give a fuck. I'm not interested in them. This is why I go after the cultural piece. I don't even do that shit. I don't even do that shit while you even try to put that on me. But here's the thing. I'll take your side of the argument. I'd rather do that than being your age, being the bitch ass nigga selling your shit. I'd rather do that. I'd rather buy the pussy at 18 rather than waste my time at fucking 60 still pushing this shit out on young, unsuspecting young ass men.
How many children you got?
0 because I'm fucking
That's
responsible.
Right. Just shut the
0
fuck up.
0 because I'm fucking responsible. 0 because I'm fucking responsible. 0. Oh my God. 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 Oh, okay. What you want me to do is be in some sucker ass fucking situation like you. This nigga is crazy. First of all, I gotta be a bitch ass nigga by walking up to women and asking for sex within 5 minutes. The second way I'm gonna be a man is by having a fucking kid with a domestic reptile. The only bitch who would go for that was a fucking hoe was not worth it. Not worth it.
I tell women straight up I
want to fuck. I don't give a fuck about that. I don't care. I don't give a shit. Who cares about that? Good Lord, that is dumb.
That's your opinion, motherfucker.
You are a man because one, you had a kid, which is a biological process that anybody could go to, and 2, another choice, which is walking up to a woman, regardless of her fucking value that she can bring to your life, and asking her
in 2017. Why? Tell the audience. Why were you a Patreon subscriber of mine if I'm such a bitch ass nigga? Do you always become a Patreon subscriber? You
ready?
Were you not a Patreon subscriber of mine in 2017?
I'm not only a Patreon of yours, I'm a Patreon of Donovan Sharp. I'm a Patreon of Alpha Male Strategies. I'm a Patreon of a lot of game niggas that I disagree with. That's how I formulate my opinion, by listening to people who I disagree with to formulate my opinions on what I do agree with. I stopped listening to you because your shit wasn't practical. That's why I stopped listening to you, and that's why you want $5 a month from me now. Hey, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
What's not practical about it?
I'm not doing it. That's what's not practical about it. I'm not doing that shit. Okay, take your ass out on camera and do Mode 1 tomorrow. Take your ass to a fucking city. I will fucking fly you to Denver, and I want you to go into a fucking spot and go Mode 1 a bitch and see what happens to you.
You deflect.
It's not practical, bro.
What's not practical about
it's an unsubstantiated practice. Unsubstantiated practice. Unsubstantiated. There ain't no practice.
What's not practical about it?
I've never seen you do it. I've never seen you take your motherfucking ass to a club with all this shit, with all this buttermilk boil over shit we having it on fucking line. No, you never have done it. Everybody has to prove they're Mode 1 but you. Everybody has to prove they're Mode 1 but you.
What's not practical about it?
Everybody has to prove they're Mode 1 but you.
What's not practical about it?
Everybody has to prove that they're Mode 1 but you. Mode 1 but you. Everybody has to prove that they're Mode 1 but you. It is a dumb standard to walk up to a woman that you don't know, post Me Too, talking about your sexual interest in her. Nigga, you crazy? You can get into a whole bunch of trouble over that shit. You're trying to make this genetic pre-qualifier bullshit fucking message over it, but that shit don't make no motherfucking sense.
It makes plenty of sense.
It don't. It does not. It don't.
It
don't.
I got a question for you.
It don't.
I got a question for you.
The host who interviewed me when we
host who interviewed
Melody What's
Okay,
your thought?
Yeah.
Yes.
No,
Leave her
I
out
don't
of
We
think-
already discussed
I
it.
Leave
don't
her
think
out of
it's
it.
done.
Leave her out of
You
it.
know
Leave
what?
her out of it.
Most
Huh?
important is what
Leave her out of it. No.
What's
Wait,
your
hold
thoughts
on.
it,
Hold on
Melanie?
a second.
I
Let's
was
most
just
important.
Another man thinks about my Mo
No,
one
sir.
approach.
No, sir.
Melody,
real quick. I'm gonna say
What's
this.
most important?
You
what's
two.
your thoughts on it, Melody?
Well, I love the interview. It was great. Mode one works for you, and it works for a lot of people, but it might not
Let
work
me
for
ask you
MOT.
specifically and straightforwardly, Melody. If a guy met you and all he was interested in is a few episodes of short-term, non-monogamous, casual sex with you, would you want him to bullshit you about that? Would you want him to like suppress that? Or would you prefer he be upfront and straightforward about that?
And Melanie, me and you had this conversation before, so you already know. Yeah.
So I want to know if you were at a party, a nightclub, social function, and a guy
Man, nobody gives a fuck about what women think. Like, this is what it is.
I'm talking to Melody.
Okay.
He didn't
All
look
right,
at you
nigga.
as wife material. He didn't look at you as long-term girl. He just really wanted you to be his fuck buddy for X number of days, X number of weeks, X number of months. Would you want him to indefinitely suppress that and give you the impression that he wanted to be your next long-term boyfriend, or would you want him to be straight up about the fact that he just want to fuck?
Well, I told you I like Mode 3 the best.
You like,
No,
so you
Mode-
like a man
Mode 1
pretending
no,
like he
Mode
wants you
1.5.
to be his next girlfriend when he really just wants to fuck you.
No, I'd rather Mode 1.5. Remember I told you in the
Okay, you
interview?
said Mode 3. Mode 3 is
I
totally
meant to
different
say-
than Mode
Oh, she was getting
1.5.
confused.
I meant to
LC.
say Mode. Yeah, I was confused. I meant to
So-
say Mode 1.5.
Because if you
But-
said Mode 3, that would be a guy just blatantly lying to you and toying with your emotion.
Yeah, she got it confused, Mr. Curry. Yeah, she got it confused.
Oh,
with
okay.
Mo.
Yeah,
Mode
no,
1.5,
yeah, she got
that's
Mode
a very
1.3.
small one that doesn't involve
Alright.
any profanity or X-rated language.
Yeah,
I
I don't want
understand
any profanity. I don't want the X-rated stuff. Remember I told you, ARC?
Okay, well then
I
see,
just-
you still endorsing Mode 1 though. You just don't
What?
like the raunchy version of Mode 1.
Oh, my
But
God.
you're
I
still
don't-
endorsing Mode 1.
No one has demonstrated this. These are all bitch nigga fan fiction things, man. Nobody has demonstrated this shit. You niggas so good. Get your ass on camera. Get your ass on camera. Get your ass on camera.
Let me ask
Go
you
ahead,
something.
sir.
See, if you
Go ahead,
feel
sir.
like his advice don't work, you want to, criticize a lot of these dating coaches. Why don't you
Yeah.
start a service and see if your advice work?
It does work. It's called
You
SYFDM.
got video tape that it works.
Yeah, nigga.
You got pictures of videotape that it works.
Here's the thing.
Post
not
it
out here.
online.
Okay, Mel.
No,
since
post
you're
it
doing this
online.
bitch nigga shit. Okay, so let me
Yeah,
tell you.
that's your favorite word. You
Why
do
you
it.
gotta throw out
Mel, listen. I'm not in the dating industry. I know the shit don't work because I don't see any proof. You don't tell me to come up with a system that I
But
don't
you
want
feel
to
like you're
criticize.
enforcing your side of the system, though. Why? Prove
Listen,
that your
dude,
version
The
works.
cultural shit works. If you deal with better culture people, you have a better
If you
culture
feel like
outcome.
yours works,
Mo
then
1
show
is for
it.
hoes. Mo 1 is for hoes. Game is for hoes.
Show it that yours
That's what
works.
it's
Then
for.
Then
That's
create
what it's
your
That's what it's
your
about.
version.
Okay,
of
No,
the main
sir.
strategy
No,
and
sir.
see if
No,
it
sir.
works.
That's
So-
not
so
how
let
that
me-
works.
So video.
That's not how that works. That's not
Yes,
how
it
that
does.
works.
From your
Okay.
point
That's
of
not
view,
how it
that's
works.
how that
That's not
works.
how it works.
Because you criticize
okay,
ALC
that's
about
not how-
his version.
I get criticized.
So I'm
white
taking what you
supremacists.
said
Like,
and
Mel,
challenging that.
Listen,
Prove that yours works. No videotape for yours.
Okay.
Let me do this. Let me ask Mel this. Mel, you realize that MOT is debunking the need of dating coaches, so he's not a dating coach himself. So for you to ask him what he doesn't really have a version to apply.
And there's a reason why he's debunking it. So you know what? Why don't you create your system of your own and see if yours works?
Well, my
I'm
system
not
on
going
my
to
own
debunk
is
it
built.
if I want to
Like,
prove that's my
Mel,
word.
You're missing a point. Like by your
That is
logic.
the point.
No.
It's not the point.
Why would I spend my time debunking? Let's say
It's
I
not.
want to debunk ARC stuff. There's a reason why I wanted to do it. So you know what? Let me
Yeah,
debunk it
no.
and make
What
video
you're-
tutorial. You
what
know
you're
what?
saying-
My
No.
advice works over
What-
Oh
his.
my God.
Now,
Bravo
what you're
Alpha
saying is
Why,
November.
that's just you sitting back and hate
Oh
watching.
my God.
That's what it is. You hate
I don't
watching.
have to hate watch a concept
That's
I
what
don't
you're
believe in.
doing.
I don't hate watch a concept I don't believe
Yes,
in.
you
I
do.
don't believe in the concept. Dude,
Yeah.
But that's what you're doing.
I
You
need-
do
so
that.
Mel,
I need the
Mel, what
You hate watch all these dating coaches, but you
No, I don't
Mel,
have to hate
no,
watch
no,
them.
that's
I don't believe in the
let
concept.
Mel, you gotta let other people speak. All right, Mel, what you're doing is the equivalent to getting somebody who doesn't necessarily believe in God or religion, and you say if you don't believe in it, start your own church. You can't really apply that logic in that way.
Why?
And have it make sense.
That is the point.
Why?
He wants his point to make sense. That's why he's debunking it. That's why I challenge it.
What Game Changer,
That's
with all
the
due
point.
respect, that is actually a fairly valid point. But here's the thing. Here's what's also illogical if we're going to go in the category of logical. I've always said, man, if somebody evaluates my approach and they say, you know what, after examining Alan Roger Curry's Mode 1 approach, I don't think that would be beneficial to me and conducive to my objectives.
I have not seen the concept be demonstrated.
So if MOT was to say, hey, I examined Alan Roger Curry's Mode 1 approach, and I don't think it would be beneficial to me, and I don't think it would be conducive, I wouldn't have any argument. But where I'm having an argument is that he's stepping out beyond himself and basically saying, I don't think Mode 1 would be benefit to anybody. And if you come at me like that, I'm going to always give you a vehement argument because I got motherfuckers who Mode 1 work for. My brother is married to his wife because of Mode 1.
I bet.
I know all kinds of niggas in Mode 1.
Great.
So this nigga don't know what the fuck he how would I stay in business for 20 years?
I guess making you yell makes your opinion right? That's
20 years bullshit.
Have anybody need to yell facts before?
What?
Really?
What you saying?
Yeah. When was the last time that somebody had to yell facts?
If you saying Mode 1 is bullshit, what you're saying is upfront, straightforward honesty is bullshit. That all motherfuckers need to be liars and manipulate. That's what you're essentially
I never said people need to lie to women. I never said that. I never said that.
You're saying every
I never said that. I never said that.
Liar and a manipulator.
I never said that either. That's not my point. That's not my point.
Then explain what you meant.
That's not my point. That's not my point.
Liar,
that's not my point.
Or rape.
That's not my point.
Because you don't have.
I'm just saying. If you have the Mode 1 shit, we got excellent cameras nowadays. Take your ass into a city and fucking prove it.
I'm married, motherfucker.
Okay. Now you can't show proof because you're married.
You're going to try to
Are
you calling yourself a businessman?
Oh my God.
How you call yourself a businessman and videotaping someone without their consent?
Hell yeah. You the one out here presenting a standard. Okay. That's a legitimate question.
Game changer. I have to step away for 2 minutes. Can you please hold the panel down?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, Mel, let me answer your question. Do not come up with a system where the standard of proof is going to put you into legal trouble. That's what you can do. If you want to come up with a system that needs to be verified and the verification system can put your ass in trouble, then don't come out here talking about that standard unless you can actually prove your point.
What do you mean get you in trouble? What are you talking about?
If somebody says that they can perform open heart surgery, I'm going to want to see some board certifications. I'm going to want to see some recommendations. I'm going to want to see all that shit along with videotape evidence. It isn't just one thing out of all of the rest of the things, which can be actually messed up. I actually think that you need to get out there and prove this shit every single year. You could have did this shit while you were single. Now you're trying to use the fact that your ass is married. So now you can't prove your point. Get the fuck out of here. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Talk to Sasha
okay. I am not going to go to bitch ass niggas for this.
Well-known Caucasian people in the manosphere.
I don't care about that. I don't care. I don't care about that.
Just like you before he met me.
I don't care. I don't care.
That I was the real. Of course you don't care.
I don't care.
You just want to argue to be arguing, motherfucker. You just
you don't want who came up to my interview, nigga. I didn't jump up on your interview. I did not jump up on your interview. I did not jump up on your interview.
Nobody mentioned your name in my interview.
Whatever, man.
Then MOT, let me ask you something this.
Okay.
Let me ask you something this, MOT. If you feel you want that type of system to work, then you get a bunch of men together and go to Congress.
Wait. What type of system to work are you talking about?
The one that you had described, right?
What system that you think I described?
The one where you could videotape without nobody's consent. That's what he's telling you was alluding, right?
Man, get the fuck out of here, man. Listen, you're trying to remove proof from the actual standard on the table.
The point is,
you're telling me to go change laws. You want me to go change laws?
Consent.
So
Do you want me to
You
go
want to
change
make
the
it
law?
law. That's what I told you.
You're the one out here.
So you know what? Get a bunch of
You're
dudes
the one
together.
out here making
put it against the law,
unsubstantiated claims.
and see if that works.
So I'm gonna tell you,
You're
Because
the
you
one
know
out
you'd
here.
be sued for that.
Put yourself
You're the one
in a
out here
position where
making
you can be
unsubstantiated
sued.
claims. You're the one
You're
making
the one
Saying a
unsubstantiated
bunch of
claims.
babble so
Let
damn
me
much.
ask this. Let me ask this because I was saving this since the beginning, since the two of you first started talking. And this is to Alan Roger Curry. Can you videotape someone without consent, provided that you blur their face?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yes.
No,
Yes, you
No, you
can.
can't.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't, man.
Yes, you can.
You got a
Oh
man
my
that works
God.
in media. I know
No,
people
you
that worked in media. You got to still get a consent form from that.
No.
You gotta sign a waiver.
I've covered
Listen,
that
listen.
before on the video.
If this
you
is
can't.
happening in a public
No, you
place, you
can't.
do not
Even
need
if you brought it,
consent.
no, you can't.
You
No,
do
you
not
can't.
need
No, you
consent
can't.
if this is happening
No.
in a
I
public
know people that
place.
work in reality TV also too.
Listen,
You have to sign
listen.
consent.
If this is happening in a public
Nope.
place, you do not need consent. You don't
That's
need it.
bullshit.
All right, you know
Bullshit.
what?
That's
Oh my
bullshit.
God.
Let-
Oh
let-
my
go to your
God.
I
lawyers.
would like to know what
Oh
attorney
my
you
God.
talking to.
Oh
Go
my
to your
God.
lawyers.
They want to do
Have them
everything in the
say
world
that this is
except
true.
to prove their goddamn point. You can't prove
No,
your
you want
point.
people to prove points, right? So I want you to prove
Beyond
your point.
reasonable doubt.
Go
Beyond
to your
reasonable doubt.
lawyer.
Take your
Ask them,
camera
you got
on. Take
lawyers.
your camera on.
Go
and
to
take
your
your
lawyer and get it in writing, or let them say that this
Why
is
the
true.
fuck would I
What you
ask
say
my
is
lawyer
true.
such a dumbass
Then why
question? I
the
already
fuck
know
your
the
dumb
answer
ass
to
is
it.
saying all this shit?
But
Nobody
here's the
say.
thing. You're
You
on
get a
the
man
channel.
that works in media for
Bitch.
many years before your
I
ass
don't
is
give a fuck
taking
about that. It
indictment.
doesn't matter.
It does matter,
Prove your
motherfucker.
point.
What?
Prove your goddamn point.
does
Prove your
matter.
point.
It
Prove
does
your point.
I swear, man.
Prove
Bunch of
your
goofy
point.
clown men and shit
Prove
like that. For
your
real.
point. Prove your point.
Prove your point.
That's
I
right.
just told you prove
Prove your
yours.
point.
Prove your point.
My point is
can't.
proven because you
You
haven't
can't.
proved. Who cares
Like I
now?
said, start a business of your own. Videotape people under their consent, under not their consent. Prove your point.
You the
Exactly.
bitch ass niggas who
Prove
come out
Prove
here
your
with this
point,
goddamn
motherfucker.
concept.
You goofy clown man, motherfucker.
And
Y'all the ones
it.
coming out here with this goddamn concept. Y'all the one coming out with this concept.
You don't
that
want
this
to
shit
see
works.
proof. So you know what?
I don't need to
Fuck,
prove
I
I ain't
wanna
watching
see
those
proof.
people.
Okay.
So
Mel,
your system,
Mel,
prove your point.
So
I'm
so
making
Mel,
six
no,
figures,
Hey.
motherfucker.
That's right.
I'm
Prove it.
making six figures.
Prove it. Prove it.
Prove your point. How much money you make?
Listen, man.
And I got a 20-year career. I proved that, motherfucker.
Listen.
I proved that I got a 20-year plus career.
Hey.
What else I
A
need?
career.
I don't need
A
to
career
Just
of
watch
Christian
other
and not
motherfuckers,
providing
man.
proof.
Watch
There
hate
ain't no
watch other
fucking
motherfuckers.
proof.
Correct.
There is no proof.
You're just a hypocrite, man. Word.
There ain't no proof.
Right quick, Alan,
No
Alan,
proof.
1 second,
No proof.
1 second. Big
I don't
J,
need to prove shit to
Melody,
you.
Melody.
Okay.
Alan,
Great. You don't have to prove
please.
shit to me. Thanks.
MOT, please. Alan,
Niggas, you in a relationship. Why
our
would
Big
you
J.
Here we go. Here we go.
Big J.
Here we go.
Melody is
Here we
gone,
go.
so I
If you
can't
got
let
a
you
woman,
up.
if you got a woman,
Melody is
I'll
gone,
tell you
so I
what.
can't let you up.
That chat.
Now, it's really not going to argue if you should have proof, is not the actual argument. It's the validity of mode 1. I think that's the core argument.
Nope. I'm exposing this hypocrisy. That's what he is.
How am I a hypocrite by asking for proof?
Because I did the same thing to you. I'm using your logic against you.
You're not using logic.
Yes, I am. Create a structure for your business to see if your structure works and do what you want him to do.
I am not in the dating
You're not going to do that.
business.
So why do you want someone else to do it?
Then, if you're not in it,
Here's the thing.
Why you
Okay.
concerned?
I'll tell you why.
Why?
You want me to fucking leave so you can have free reign and access to these wannabe bitch ass niggas in the future. I'm not gonna do that shit. What I'm gonna do is have you prove your goddamn point if it fucking works. If it don't fucking work, you gonna be here making excuses why it don't work.
Oh,
It don't
I
fucking
know.
work. Where's your goddamn point?
Oh, Mr.
Where
Curry,
is
Mr.
your
Curry.
point?
Oh, Mr.
Where
Curry,
is your
I'm about
point?
to get him right now, Mr. Curry. You know who he
okay.
is?
Okay.
He feels
Okay.
entitled to females. That's what he feels like.
Oh my
That's
God.
for every chick
Oh my
to get with
God.
every guy.
Oh my God.
Reality check.
Oh my God.
Reality
We gotta
check.
go into real bitch ass
Check-
nigga mode
exactly.
now. Oh my
Exactly.
God.
And you insulting like a
my
woman,
God.
too.
Oh my
Reality
God.
check.
What's
Women choose who
going
they
on
want to have
here?
sex with.
What's going
So
on
you gotta
here?
present yourself
What's going on
to be
here?
desirable to
I
that
already
woman.
got a
You
woman.
can't force
And if
every
she
female
acts up,
to get with.
I don't care about women's opinion. You niggas do.
You myself. You
Yes.
care about what you want to call bitch ass niggas' opinion? You care about sibling motherfuckers. That's what you care about.
I can't.
Fuck.
Okay.
You acting like one.
Helmet time.
I'm self-entitled to
It's
women.
helmet time.
Every female so fuck every dude. unfortunate reality check. That don't work that way. Make yourself the top guy or stay out the gutter.
It's helmet time. It's helmet time. It's helmet time. It's helmet time.
He said
Hold
earlier,
the line. It's helmet time.
Hold
the line. It's helmet time.
He's scared of having a drink thrown in his face. But then just now he said he don't give a fuck what women think.
Exactly.
Okay. Let me explain to you.
That's the side of a hate watcher.
Both are true. I don't give a fuck about what women think.
Either you don't give a fuck about what a woman thinks.
No, I don't care. I don't care.
Then why you care?
I don't care.
If she throw a drink in your face.
Because I don't want your old ass up here spreading lies without proof, old nigga. That's why.
Nigga, you are old.
Vice works. What are you talking about?
You ain't in your 20s, motherfucker.
Nigga, listen, man. You been here since the Civil War ended and you ain't got no proof of Mode 1, nigga. What the fuck is going on here?
Why I've been in my business for 20 years?
Fuck out of here. This shit doesn't work.
Why I've been on national television?
Yeah. Drop nuts in the male's mouth. That's what you're doing. Dropping nuts in the male's mouth. Get the fuck out of here.
Now you want to do some gay insults, huh?
You will never be on national television.
I don't want to be on national television.
He's doing the side segment. The same insult need to be right. Guilt trip.
Every time.
Same insult. Guilt trip needs to be right.
This is crazy. You niggas are insane.
Oh my God,
yo. What it is.
He's insulting like this. You see what he's doing to us?
You niggas are
He's doing what a woman does. This is what a woman does. Insult.
This is what I'm saying.
Guilt trip. Shame. Insult need to be right.
Old niggas are fucking sad.
You know what I'm saying, right?
I gotta go have a kid
don't
with
play
a
on to him, Mr. Curry. That's what he's doing. He's doing what a woman does.
What are you talking about?
He's doing what a woman does. Insult.
Yeah, mailman time.
Shame, insult. Guilt trip. Need to be right. That's what you're doing, MOT. That's how you know I'm laughing about this.
I am fucking right, nigga. I am fucking right.
He can't prove this shit right. He can't prove this shit right. Damn.
I don't need a woman's opinion to feel like
hate
a fucking man.
watching. Was hate watching.
Nigga, I don't have to hate watch shit that ain't true.
That's why you ain't Mode 1, because you do care about women's opinion.
Exactly.
I'm not a bitch ass
who don't care about women's opinion.
I'm women's opinion. When I can go over the cultured women.
You do care.
Why the fuck would I care about an uncultured woman's opinion when I can just go over the cultured women who give a fuck about women? Nigga, I don't give a fuck about the hoes you got access to. Okay. I don't want to have no balls to go do something fucking stupid.
Alan, let me ask you. The purpose is,
she's a damn scared.
So, Alan, is the purpose of talking to a woman to actually, mate with her or have a long-term mating relationship with her, or is it to show how ballsy you are to your friends?
The purpose of talking to any woman is to find out as quickly as possible if she has the same desires, interests, and intentions as you, or if she doesn't. Period. End of story.
Now remember, GC, what's the number one thing?
So displaying your ballsiness is not really required.
Yes, it is. To be Mode 1. To be Mode 1, you gotta have.
No, I get it's required to be Mode 1, but it's not required to determine her interest in you or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Because what I'm saying is, I would not like a situation. I don't think it would be to anyone's benefit to use Mode 1 when Mode 2 would have worked. Now we've
Mode 2 gets you played.
Exactly.
That's your boy Ramil. Ramil even admitted that on a video last year. Because he's a proponent actually of Mode 2 over Mode 1.
And I am too. We talked about this, Alan. I prefer Mode 2 over Mode 1.
Mode 2 is that you end up wasting time and money on women who are not interested.
And I've done that plenty of times in my past with Mode 2.
Oh my God.
That definitely.
No, you interrupt too much. No, okay. So, however, you risk time with Mode 2. And yes, you do sometimes waste time with it. However, Mode 1 puts you in situations where you lose sexual opportunity that you would have had.
You waste time with women that are not. See, with Mode 1,
no, and listen,
you might get rejected,
that there's
but with Mode 1,
circumstances.
you never waste any significant amount of time or money with the women who are not interested in you.
Yeah,
well, how come we can't see videotape proof of it?
Right quick, if I may. Alan, what I'm saying is that there are times for Mode 1 and there are times for Mode 2. That's it.
That's your opinion.
No,
That's
it's
not
not.
mine.
No, that's not my opinion.
I'm not
That's-
gonna argue.
It
with
is
you.
your
Okay,
opinion,
okay,
Game
if you
Changer.
feel
You go
that
to
way,
debate all the time, Game Changer, about this.
If you feel that way,
And you like manipulating, lying to women. You actually admitted
No,
that,
I don't talk
and
to people
I'm
about
agreeing
this,
with
Mel.
that.
I don't talk to people about this because I'm not really a pickup artist. I don't sell.
I know, but me, you had debate about this also too in the past. We know
and
that.
it was a conversation I would
Exactly.
rather avoid it. But since I have Alan here, you know,
Yeah.
I do want to say in my experience, which is different than yours, you know, because for a lot of reasons, you know, I found myself in situations where mode 1 would be very helpful. Not for the reasons that you're talking about, but for other reasons, mode 1 is very helpful. Mode 2 mostly works. So I'm with Ramil on that one. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, or mode
I'm always
1.5.
saying that if somebody's individual opinion is that they prefer either to use mode 2 exclusively or a combination of mode 1 and mode 2, and they feel like that's conducive to their objectives, I ain't never had no. I said it already a few minutes ago. When people talk about what's beneficial to them individually, I never have an argument, ever. When I get vehement, like I'm being on this panel, is when people start trying to speak for other men other than themselves. That's when you're going to get vehement arguments out of me, is when you go beyond yourself and you say something like, not only do I feel like mode 1 is not beneficial to me, but I don't think mode 1 is beneficial to any heterosexual man. That's when you're going to get vehement arguments out of me.
Okay, so
But if you're just speaking for yourself, I don't have an argument.
Here's something
quick,
I want to ask. Here's something I want to ask.
Wait, guys,
Oh, BJ,
1 minute.
BJ,
1
Big
second.
J,
We're gonna
BJ,
have
right here.
Game Changer, and then we're gonna go to who came first? Big J?
Yeah, Big J,
Big J.
yes.
Yeah, Big J, you're after Game Changer.
What's good, Youngies?
Okay. So no, I get what you're saying about, you know, if it doesn't work for the individual, and I understand that you don't want to spread an image, you know, or something harming your product, the image of your product, that it doesn't work for anyone. So I understand your
Mode
desire.
1 always works. Let me put that. That's
No,
what you need. You need to understand this. Game Changer. Let me explain this to you.
Alan,
Mode
if you
1
define-
always
Alan,
works.
if you define working as not wasting time, I agree. If you define working as getting you sex, it doesn't work all the time. So
No, Game Changer. That's where you missing because mode 1 supposed to work.
Game Changer right now. Nobody else interrupt. Nobody else interrupt.
Supposed to be
See,
relaxed.
that's the thing, Game Changer. Somebody got background noise.
yeah, RBR, that's you, man.
RBL, please mute.
Now, Game Changer, I've listened to you enough on different people's live streams. You, like a lot of other people in this space, are quick to point out when you feel like people are bringing up straw man arguments. Without question, one of the biggest straw man arguments that people bring up with me literally for 20 years going is they'll say, well, Alan, mode 1 will get you laid every time you use it. And my simple response is, when did I ever say it does?
No, I'm
When
just
did I ever
clarifying.
say it does?
No, okay, Alan, I'm clarifying what you meant when you say it works all the time.
It works in
I'm
this
clarifying for everybody.
I have 5
'Cause-
archetypes of women in my book. Everybody who got my books knows this, which is reciprocator, rejector, wholesome pretender, erotic.
All right, but okay. All right.
You finish
I know what the mode 1 shit.
Erotic
Yeah,
hypocrite and manipulative time waster.
yeah, we're done with that.
Respect to quickly identifying which category the woman you're talking to is in, mode 1 it will always allow you to quickly identify if you're talking to a reciprocator.
Yeah.
It will allow you to quickly identify if you're talking to a rejector. It will allow you to quickly identify if you're talking to a wholesome pretender, an erotic hypocrite, or a manipulative time waster. Always.
What I'm doing, Alan, is
works.
What I'm doing, Alan, is I'm defining the word works, because what happens is people hear when you say mode 1 always works, people hear that mode 1 always gets you pussy.
That's their problem. That's not mine.
Yeah.
That's
No,
their
so
problem.
what I'm doing is, so they don't have that problem. I'm clarifying the definition.
I clarified it like 200 times since I've been on YouTube.
Hold on, right quick.
I've literally clarified it 200 times.
Right quick. By works, what Alan means is that mode 1 helps you identify the type of woman that won't fuck you. That's what I mean. That's what works mean in this particular instance. Won't or will fuck you, excuse me. So
yeah, I was going to clarify. Yeah, I was going to tell you.
no worries.
It will identify both.
That's
it will
what's meant
identify
by
the
works.
women who
Once
do
we
want to
have
fuck
that
you
clear,
and the women who
but
don't.
hold on. Once we have that clear, we can say that mode 1 is an effective tool to identify the woman you're dealing with. Is it effective a tool on actually getting you to sleep with that woman, that's what's up for debate, and that's what you and MOT is really on a back and forth about.
For me, it has always helped me score casual sex with the woman.
Yeah, I know. And
okay, nobody gives a shit about that all the time.
But yeah, no, and I get it, and it sometimes helped me, even before reading it or understanding it. But direct approach has sometimes helped me, and sometimes it hasn't. So
okay, well, see, that's the only difference between me and you is the word sometimes. See, for me, the direct approach has always helped me. There's no sometimes to it. It's always been beneficial to me.
I'll put it like this before we go to Big J.
That's just me, though.
No, I get it.
Let me say this then.
Before we go to Big J, let me say this.
Before you say your comment, I just want to quickly point out something. And I'm going to lightheartedly say this shows you the bad motherfucker that I am. This is not one-on-one about Mo 1. This is not even another second interview with Alan Roger Curry.
It's called the one-on-one with Man Tomorrow.
And yet we're talking about Mo 1.
Well, you came up. I mean,
I'm a bad motherfucker, man. Because I got this whole discussion and made it about.
I know. This is why you should leave. This is why you should leave.
Okay.
Because it's not your interview.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Now, I got to ask a question to MOT.
Hey, Big J, now, as much arguing as I did with MOT, see, I'm going to show some semblance of respect. Since this is your interview, and I genuinely don't like to fuck up other people's interview, would you prefer to melody on something that's not related to me and my Mo 1 approach? Would that be your preference?
Well, we moved on until you brought it back up, sir.
No, I'm asking you right now. At this moment, would you want to move on to another subject matter that has no?
You have successfully hijacked the panel, and if you want to make an exit, you're free and welcome to go. But you are correct, sir.
Let's keep
I will honor your request. I will. No, wait, hold on. I'm talking to ARC. The answer is yes.
No. Fuck, man. What the
fuck? Nope.
Wait a minute.
No. This is my interview. Melody, you have any more questions?
Yeah. Big J has a question for you.
Right.
Go ahead, Big J.
Right, but then though, I have a question for you, MOT.
It better not be about Mo 1, because I just made an agreement that I'm not talking about this shit no more.
Earlier you said you said the SYSBM works. So can like you show us the proof that SYSBM is changing the world, and when it comes to black men worldwide?
Okay, so let me help you out.
Show us the proof. Show us the proof that SYSBM is changing the world for black men.
Hold on. SYSBM is an outcome-based approach. You can't base it on the income-based approach, which is kind of like certain other systems. It's an outcome-based approach with individual results by leaving specifically cultured level of individuals the hell alone. Yeah, that's the proof.
I hear you talking.
That's the proof. That's the proof.
No. What you just said is not
the proof.
God. That's like somebody saying.
Oh my God.
That's like.
Is it now? Hold
on. That's like somebody saying, well, I solved the math problem by saying the word 100, but yet though you never told anybody how the answer got to 100. You never said it.
Listen.
Quiet. I'm talking.
Big J, it's his interview.
Big J.
I'm sorry, Stove Stranger.
You're a funny man. It's his interview.
Big J, I will answer your question. If somebody thought the answer was 100, there would be an equation that would be set forth of how you got to 100. I gave you the equation. You leave. Hold on a second. Hey, somebody's talking. Come on.
RBR, mute up, please.
I'm gonna mute him up. I'm trying to mute him. It's not muting.
Nah, he's
muted. There we go.
Okay. So Big J Triple X. That's a fair question. Part of it. Let me answer the fair part of your question. If there is an answer to get to 100, we're using different cultural inputs to get to 100. That's what we're doing. We're not using the bad level of culture to get to 100. We're doing something different to get a specific outcome. The actual outcome that happens right now, everybody pretends that they're winning until they're not winning. So what we're doing is we're deliberately leaving a specific culture of individuals out of the conversation that normally run men into the ground and don't have any respect for men at all, and just choosing to do other things. And here's the thing. If you listen to the interview earlier, Melody asked a very specific question. Can a black woman can still be chosen under an SYSBM system? And I say absolutely. And the problem is that she just need not to bring along all those type of attributes that we're trying to leave behind.
Long as
That's
she's
how
not
you get
black,
to
she's in the game.
Okay,
here's
I guess nobody just heard my
the thing.
The explanation.
Well, here's the thing though. But you're a business owner, right? You're a millionaire, right?
Yeah.
Am I correct?
So if you want to prove this, Big J.
No. I want to answer my question.
Big J. Here's what I do for you.
Are you a business owner? Are you a millionaire? Or are you not?
Big J Triple X. I will prove it to you. You want to know how I prove it? I will come to your city. We will both go to the IRS. We will go pull our last 5, and we will show them to the public. That's how you prove it. There's only 2 groups of people who can prove it.
That's not what I asked.
Hell yeah, that's proof. That's proof.
That is not what I asked.
The only person
that is not what I asked.
Jay, he's not going to do that. He's a hypocrite.
That's not what I asked. I'm going to say this one more time.
Did I not set down a standard? Did I not set down a standard? I will come to your city.
I'm going to ask this question one more again.
I will come to your city.
Because it's very obvious.
I will go to the IRS in your city.
It is very obvious.
We will go to the IRS. And I will pull my last 5.
It's very obvious.
I will never pull my last 5. That's how you find out for certain. That's how you find out for certain. That's how you find out for certain.
Really?
Do you think the IRS is going to lie for me?
That's not proof. That's not proof.
That's not proof from the IRS?
Because we're not talking about the IRS, nigga. You are.
Those are the people who verify the proof of what you make.
No. I asked a question so I can have a follow-up question.
No. I'm giving you an actual way of proving your point beyond a reasonable doubt. If you want to prove who I am, we could go to the IRS in your city.
You're missing the point, Negro.
No, I'm not missing the point.
That's not the point.
Listen, man. I'm giving you a 100% guaranteed way of how to do that.
Hold on, Melody, can I rock for a minute, Melody?
Nigga, you can't rock for a goddamn minute. This
is It was a decent show. Let's have a discussion, man. It's personal.
Big J, hold on. I'm gonna say one thing. This is MOT's interview.
Thank you.
So please respect MOT and
like I said, Big J Triple X. Big J Triple X. That's how you find out what a person's making or not.
What you make is not
Jay. Let him talk, and then you can talk. If you
want proof of your point, the only way you can prove your point is to go to the IRS and have them print it out for you to show to you. That's the only way you would know that what somebody makes or not. Think about it. The former president of the United States claimed that he was a fucking billionaire. You know what happened when his actual tax returns came out? You figured out that wasn't the goddamn case. Everybody knew that if you release the fucking tax returns, but I would rather print them out for you at the IRS so that way I'm just not putting shit on the screen. They gonna print them out and they will fucking show you. That's the only way you can be certain about it. And if you don't accept that level of stand for proof, I have no other questions about that subject. And that's the only way you can tell. Last 5 IRS. And if you don't know that that's the standard proof of how you actually see how much a person makes, I don't want to hear any more of your questions. That's how you find out for certain.
All right. I think the Real Brother's next. So thank you, Big J.
No. See, I'm getting tired of the bullshit here. That was not the question that I asked.
What question do you want to ask? What do you want to ask MLT?
I put it to you like this. Then since
I shut down his logic. I shut down his logic before he could be able to get it out.
Since he won't follow the lead.
Here's the thing.
Since he don't want to follow the lead, though, because he's not the sharpest knife in the drawer. He's not the brightest bulb in the room. Okay. You're not the brightest bulb in the room. So allow me to help you out. Here is where I was going at when I asked that question. It really wasn't a question. It was a question to lead on to another question. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
The way you want to see what somebody makes,
if you are a man, we're not talking about the IRS. If you are a man with certain amount of wealth,
that's a verification.
If you are a man, hold on, watch it. I know it hurts.
Where's the Schedule C? Where's the Schedule C? Big J Triple X.
I know it hurts.
Big J.
I know it hurts, man, but you can't take it, man.
Big J. What is a Schedule C?
Man, you got to eat this raw.
Big J
You got to
Triple
eat
X.
this raw, my nigga. But here's the thing.
Big J Triple X. What is the Schedule C? Big J Triple X.
No, we ain't talking about IRS. We're talking about. Hold on. We're talking about.
Let's do this.
We're talking about the access. Hold on. Hold on. Watch it.
Where's the Schedule C?
Watch this, y'all.
Where's the Schedule C?
Let's do this.
Watch this, y'all.
What is that Schedule C?
If you are a man of means,
Big J Triple X.
if you are a man of
Schedule
means,
C?
Now we're in a circle. Let's do this, fellas. Let's do this. Big J, you asked the question. Is he wealthy? Now he replied.
That was a heretical question that was going to lead to a point.
No. Let me do this. He's saying his response essentially is yes, he is, and he can prove it by giving IRS
but then though I will lead on to this. Wait a minute. If you are a man of means, then why the fuck are you complaining about these black women, these black women? You talking about SYSBM? Well, Negro, if you a rich ass nigga, you wouldn't be talking about SYSBM. You would just do it instead of talking it. That was the motherfucking point of the goddamn questions that I'm asking you, MOT. Since though you want to go in on everybody all the goddamn time, MOT. Since though you looking like Dark Side, wearing a fucking hat, Dark Side. You look like Dark Side wearing a damn hat, yelling and screaming at every goddamn body.
All right, let's be real.
I asked a question. That's why SYSBM. That's what I said, nigga.
Listen, there's other people on the panel.
Understand what somebody talking about? You try to cut me off.
So what I was saying was there's other people on the panel who haven't had a chance to talk. So I'm going to go with RBR.
Can I answer this question? Can I answer this question?
Sure.
Big J Triple X, could you point to me the last live stream? Since you claim I do this all the time, could you point to me the last live stream where I effectively talked about black women all the time? Because
you call yourself SYSBM. You call yourself
that's not talking about.
Therefore, by that logic, black women is going to be involved in it. Negro, your dark side, your dark side.
Melody.
Yes, I'm sorry, I was muted. Yes.
Could you re-ask your question earlier that you asked about who actually qualifies to be a woman under SYSBM or not? Since this guy wasn't listening.
No, I asked you.
If you have the money, you have access
no.
You have access to those.
Big J.
Here we go. Here.
I had to mute him. I asked him, will I be qualified to date a guy who's SYSBM, even though I'm ADOS and I'm from America?
And what did I say to that, Melody?
You said yes, as long as I don't bring the attitude, and the problems.
Okay. So now, Big J Triple X, since you got the answer to your question, do you really think that the attitude and the dysfunction is something that you can't get rid of, and there's something that you have to deal with in order to actually deal with a black woman according to your standards?
Well. You kind of bring dysfunction yourself. How the fuck can any of you
What the
Negroes?
fuck is this?
Wait,
Melody, get this nigga off the panel. Melody,
Okay.
get this nigga off the panel.
Sorry, Big J.
Off the panel.
I have to put you down. Sorry. Have a good one.
Put it down.
Yeah.
Listen, yeah.
right.
I'm like, look. Okay, wait. Before we go for it, this is how you check and see who got money and who don't. Go to the IRS. The IRS will give you a printout of somebody's last 5 or 10 or even 15. I'll show you when I didn't have money. I'll show you when I was fucking homeless. I'll show you all that shit. That's what the fucking shit is. But he wanted to make a point about black women. I don't even talk about black women. Like, this is what I mean when you got bitch ass niggas who are actually out here trying to protect black women, thinking that all black men are not even interested in black women. This is the type of shit that I'm talking about. Like, they don't need your help. They have infinite choice. They don't need you. They don't need this type of help and assistance. But see, these are the type of guys who think they're more man than everybody else because they want to protect all of women. This shit makes no sense. That's why I just let them talk. I'm like, dude, look, if the shit is about means, I gave you the actual level of verification that is unrefutable. Go to the fucking IRS and pull the fucking records. That's how you get it. Not printouts, not any of that shit. That shit can be manipulated. You know what's not? You know who's not gonna lie on you or for you? The fucking IRS. That's who's not gonna lie. Period. So to try to take that point and try to twist it into the fact that I talk about black women, that's not even part of my platform. Most of these niggas whine about black women, own they shit, and then they accept them. That's not what my platform is about, and it never was about that shit. Jesus.
Okay, well, we're going to have RBR speak next. Hi, RBR.
All right.
Long
Thank
time.
you. I know. Thank you. It's a long time, but thank you for having a real brother on, and I appreciate it, and I appreciate you, man, of tomorrow. First of all, I do want to say that the courts have ruled that if you're in a public place, then you have a reasonable expectation that somebody with a camera will take a picture of you. So you can't say, oh, they took my picture. Well, that's my store in the back. They got to pay me. No, they don't. If your store is in the middle of Times Square and Al Roker's out there doing the fucking weather, you can't sue him because you knew the damn good and where will you put that fucking store. If you're walking across the street, thank you.
RBR, they know this. They're just trying to do everything possible but provide proof. They're trying to make any excuse possible to, like, remove proof from the actual status. Remember, people believe in this shit more than it's proven. That's the only thing. I'm like, look, put a camera on, put it on Times Square. The shit can be zoomed out from the 50th floor or some shit, and let's see it work. That's it.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So it is what I was sued once successfully because the motherfucker came to my office. I had set up the office for the interview, and the motherfucker did the interview, had the big old fat ass white girl next to him, did the interview, cameras on, red light, microphone on his chest, did the interview, and then sued me and said that I called him a sellout and put him on the cover, of course, of the movie, of the DVD. And the judge said, oh, yeah, you didn't get his consent. A microphone, a camera with lights and shit. You sitting there, me asking you questions, or you answering the questions. You don't think that's the courts have ruled 100,000 times. If somebody puts a microphone in your face, that's consent. If you start talking, now if you say no comment, that's fine. If you start giving your whole life story of how you met this big old fat 400-pound whale and think you were in love, then you gave that interview. You shouldn't be able to sue me for it. Anyway, moving on. My total only issue that I do have with you, I love your attack of black conservatives that stayed on the Trump train until it went off the cliff, right? I think you were very correct in saying, okay, now it's time for black people to get off that train. And it's very difficult. What you're doing is a service. Amazing Lucas does this too. How do you get off if you decide to go with Trump? Just like a lot of brothers decided to go with Bernie before they found out he was a communist. What is your advice for black people who are wondering whether they should stay on the Trump train or whether they should get off?
Well, I mean, but Trump is not a conservative. He's not a conservative. He is a populist. That it doesn't take a lot of work to to actually extend his brand of populism. Because most men who wanted to be with or even for Trump, because they were lacking in their masculinity. They like the shit that he does. They like the things that he said. It wasn't about policies. Once you start focusing on the actual policies, all the things fucking clear up.
Now, can you be conservative within the Republican Party if you don't agree with those policies?
Yes.
Okay. What about the little racism and the anti-American sentiment? Yeah. What about those things that negatively might erode the Black community or freedom of movement, of education, of citizenship rights, voting rights, things that go along with the.
But Arbia, conservatives, Republicans are not American citizens. The things that they actually talk about. See, the reason why they need the flag and all this other shit and the symbols of patriotism is because they're not patriotic themselves. Their patriotism is based on no one else having a voice but them. This is why when Black people call themselves Black conservatives, they have to do it from the cultural angle. Because there ain't no way you're going to be able to do it from the Black anti-Black angle unless you some specialized elements within the spirit who think they can do that. Because the only way this works is that you have a readily populace that is politically ignorant who's not trying to educate themselves on the topic. And since people can come around and become a code of personality faster than they became an actual teacher, an actual corrector of issues, that's the problem that you're currently going to have. Like, no one talks about how...
Are you suggesting that they reject the Republican politics or the conservative mantle?
I have nothing wrong with conservatism as long as equal protection under the law comes first. That's the only way conservatism would actually work. It actually works in other countries, actual conservatism, because there's an actual level of protection for everybody within the environment. Then you be conservative after that. But this conservatism here is about excluding members outside of their protection and then starting their conservatism there.
Mm. So you're saying, and that's a good point that I will definitely accept, that they're not really conservative. It's like Bernie and them talking about they progressives. No communist is really progressive. They're just lying. Okay.
No, I mean, he's a democratic socialist, but yeah.
Thank you. Which is it's like being a democratic serial killer. It's stupid.
No, that's quite different.
Thank you. Well, you know what I'm saying. So I accept that. So your response to Ben Shapiro or someone like that is, no, you're not a conservative. You don't want freedoms and liberties for everybody. You just want Ron Paul and them to have freedom and liberties.
The only thing you have to do is take the flag back from conservatives and make them prove that they're American. That's the only way you can do it. Okay. You tell these un-American motherfuckers who want these actual statues of like people who were domestic terrorists against the actual United States to want those actual statues to stand, make them prove that they're American. Make them prove it. Make them prove it.
Okay. Yeah, those were Confederate and rebel statues. Those were not American symbols of America. Okay. Are there any other issues that you think that conservatives have, that these are values that should be kept? What do you think about the reparations discussion? How do you feel about that?
Conservatives don't have the reparations discussion. Actually, most conservatives are happy about what happened, and they think the actual accurate teaching of history, what makes them look bad, is something that they don't want taught. And this has always been the actual thing about that since even like after the Civil War was over. Like there are like Black libraries and like Black communities because their type of history wasn't allowed to be in the quote unquote state library that they're still uncovering right now. So these people have never been American citizens. I mean, the only thing that they care about is corporate rule, and they really don't care about anything else. That's it. So it's very easy, and this is why they don't talk about policy, because they don't want the responsibility for changing the environment. They think the environment is perfect just the way it is.
Okay. Now, for you personally, and like I said, I like what you were doing. I like what Lucas is doing. Would you come back to the Conservative Party if the what we consider to be radical alt-right faction of the party were to leave?
Sure. in a heartbeat.
Okay. All right.
That's the only way true conservatism can actually work, is having equal protection under the law. And you can't have these judges on courts judging in favor of corporations and shit. Like, you can't have that within an actual party. Like, conservatism is for people. It is not about consolidation of power for corporations. That's what it's been turned into, because the actual corporate elite uses the evangelicals. They use the military industrial complex war hawks in order to actually maintain their power over the environment itself.
Did you feel that way when Bush was president?
Yes.
Okay. And I agree with you. I think that what I see Marxism and I see Darwinism. I see Marxism is that they want 1%, the wealthiest 1% of their race to control 100% of the resources and personal property in the country. And Darwinism, the strong survive. If you can beat everybody else up and take their money, then you're a thing. Now, people have talked to you, MOT, about capitalism and the principles of capitalism. And I think that's what you're talking about in terms of your ability to obtain a woman who's submissive and feminine and someone that has the principles and ideas that you would think that your mate, your life partner would have. Now,
that's why I'm interested in conservative. RBR. That's a great point. That's why I'm interested in conservative women only.
Okay.
I'm not interested in all this other stuff that I have to put all this work in and I have to do something within 5 seconds or No, I'm not interested in none of that. I'm interested in properly prepared things. When I go to places, I want things that are properly prepared by the culture that they come from. I'm not trying to convince someone to give up power within the environment. I want them to come with a level of understanding of what to bring to the table, so that way this can go forward. And this is why I say black women are not locked out of that, but it's not my fault that they don't exist. It's their fault that they can't find what they want because they're inundated with choice. I don't expect them to give up their choice. I do not expect them, with all the power that they have, with all this free labor that they get from the Bravo Alpha Novembers, I don't think they're ever going to give that power up, and nor should they. So what I'm saying is, if we're going to actually have this thing work, we got to have just as strong men.
Melody, can we do a cycle? Because I appreciate RBR's last question, but it was kind of big. It covered relationship economics as well as politics. So
So we're gonna move on to Gabe now, because he was waiting.
Hey, I had a question. It wasn't really on the politics or anything.
I have nothing to say to you.
Previous.
I don't like you. I don't have nothing to say to you. I don't.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
MOT,
that's it.
Is it okay if he just asks his question though? If you want to answer, you can.
Well, is your question for MOT? All right.
Yes, I do have a question.
I don't want to talk to Gabe. I don't want to talk to Gabe for no reason.
He doesn't want to talk to me.
Okay. Yeah. Nope.
Well,
Melody, I respect.
Yeah. Have a nice day, Gabe.
Yeah, I respect Melody, Gabe. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Well, maybe next time, Melody. No worries.
Well, you can ask me if you want, and I can.
Well, I have a strong suspicion that he won't even take it from you. But I do want you to. Nope. I get it. Okay.
I'm sorry, Gabe. Thanks for coming.
No worries.
Look to seeing you in the future.
Next time.
There is no next time.
No, like.
Well, you said that the next time you was gonna see me was in Toledo, Ohio.
Yeah.
So I'm here.
I can see you right now. I'm in Cleveland. So,
well, I'm in Toledo.
No, don't do that.
This is why I want you off the panel.
Don't do that.
Well, you got a lot to say.
I have nothing to say to you.
GC, I'm just responding to him. So I'm not.
I have nothing to say to you.
Next time the Melody show, you're welcome back. Yeah,
we'll do. All right, we'll do.
Peace out.
That's when you just leave. Thank you. All right, so now we can have a conversation. All right, great.
Okay.
All right. So, you're saying that international women, right? Because I wanted to talk to you about that. What is the legal protections that you have? Because listening to the lead attorney, he kind of left the impression that you really have none.
If there is no cultural consequences for the woman within her culture, he's right. Lead attorney is correct, at least on that point. But there are significant and overwhelming consequences for women who engage in that type of behavior from their culture.
Okay, so you're saying that you find a cultured woman, and by such meaning that she has where relationships is this relationship, marriage, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, is the center of their culture.
Yes.
You feel more comfortable bringing her here.
Oh, sure. As long as she still has that cultural upbringing and the means of bringing the cultural consequences to her within the United States, the answer is yes.
How do you determine that? Because I think that Theo, he mentioned it on Bernard's panel that he
Who's that?
did
Who's
that.
that?
So Theo is a tech guy that did an interview with Bernard. He found himself homeless, dealing with women, foreign and domestic, and then he became wealthy. Just abstaining for a period of time.
As he should.
Yeah. So that being said, the problems that he had with women internationally, and I don't remember his whole story, but I think that he married some chick from Russia or Japan or something like that, and lost a lot of money on that arrangement.
That happens a lot, actually. That happens a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that people say that there's a switch that flipped. That's not a switch that flipped. There are signs that they didn't see. And I'm not blaming it sounds like victim blaming a lot, but I'm like, dude, listen. Some people are overwhelmed with the ability to be having an IHP to where they forget about all the other drawbacks and consequences that could come away from it. This is why I say a standard and culture of consequences. No matter where you are. Like there are Cambodian societies here in the United States. I didn't know that, but bringing somebody here and bringing somebody's mother here, I didn't know that where these type of people live in these type of areas. I didn't know that. But that's what I mean by they're still around their group of people. Like she's not even allowed to be even socialized around most like American people. She's not into social media and all that kind of stuff. She just does her own thing outside of driving or whatever has to do. So,
what country is she from?
Cambodia.
Is there a community where you live?
Yes.
Is she allowed around them?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Okay.
No, it isn't like she come here and she's totally trapped in my house. Oh hell no. No, she has family here.
No, so she's allowed around others as long as their culture reinforces her
standards.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And I understand that completely because there's a Cameroonian culture or community.
And I have a question for MOT now.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna give you a sandwich.
Okay.
You about to get him own self a sandwich?
Get his own self a sandwich. That's funny. All right, so MOT, how do you know she's not picking up feminism traits? Like when you're not there.
I don't care. No, she's with me. She's with me at work. Like there's no time. There's not like this idle time where she's just sitting back by herself, going to play. No, that's not what's happening.
But what about when she goes to her family's house and you're not there? How do you know? Oh, go ahead.
No, I mean because they're very adept at kicking people out of their culture who don't behave properly, and like the whole the woman keeping up on other women and making sure that they don't kind of go down that kind of path. That shit is for real in their culture, very for real. Like the men aren't going to be the ones who address the shit. The women are going to be the ones who bring it to the man for the stuff to be addressed. Not on some jealousy, I want your man type shit, but it's just a protection for the entire group type thing. Which doesn't exist within black culture because in black culture, the exact opposite happens. Most of the Bravo Alpha Novembers actually encourage the woman to actually engage in all this stuff so that way they can be able to benefit and profit for more sex being on the table that they may get in the future. This is why Bravo Alpha members poke out on certain things like, oh, you're talking bad about black women, when I don't even make streams about it. Why? I already have one. But see, then again, other people want you to leave the field completely and not try to wake these men up, which is people who have products to sell around keeping this bad culture going. So there's a lot that's going on here. So, and that's where I'm at, because most of the men in the environment are not even going to be able to say these things, but because they're so compromised by the chase or somebody else picking up their daughter, or even worse, someone actually taking care of their responsibilities. And they want people around to do that. And so the only way you can do that is socialize a whole bunch of men into the chase and the obtainment, regardless of how much they're giving up in the future.
Okay, well, thanks for that.
No problem.
So we have somebody new on the panel. We have Queen Q. Hi, Queen Q.
Hey, Melody.
Hey, welcome. So
Hello.
what question do you have for MOT?
I wanted to ask him more about his stance with the SYSBM on the cultural thing. So I'm actually pretty glad you brought that up because typically when I hear from SYSBM brothers, they say it's a cultural thing. So I always wanted to ask when we talk about the cultural and it comes to like, progressing down the line and marrying these women, will you also indoctrinate your children into their specific culture, both male and female, or will it just be the daughters that you incorporate into that culture?
Yeah, that's a good question. For me personally, if they're going to have access to my resources or anything else, they got to be able to follow a certain type of code or culture. That's why I'm going to have it protected by a nonprofit organization with a board of directors, rather than just having it left up to the oldest child in the family or whoever I pick or designate. Because as I've seen very recently, with certain people dying in my family, that was the glue that held the family together. People act very differently when people who would have a check on their actual behavior is no longer around. So I thought that if I had kids, that would be a good way to do it, is to pass it off to somebody. But the greatest and best way that I've seen it is to actually pass it off to an organization for the best of the best people to rise up and actually get the resources and actually do what they need to do with them. So I'm not really interested in, trying to make that type of thing. I'm just trying to make sure that it works. And that's the only way you can enforce your will, is by having other legal protections kind of do it for you.
Okay, I get what you're saying about the legal protection, but what I was referring to is the culture, the mindset that you spoke of. So you spoke of how, like, I believe that the woman you're with is Cambodian and they push marriage, they push, women. Will you, if you have children with this woman, will she be taught the same exact thing? Will you be raising
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's what I was referring to.
Yes. And if she doesn't, she'll just be kicked out of the culture like every other person's kicked out of the culture. I mean, like for me, as harsh as it sounds, and I want it to be brought up and I want it to be known, I'm not tied to the children that I have. If they don't exhibit a culture, I'm not owed a life of suffering or anything else. I just drop the motherfuckers off to where I drop them off at, and I'm done with the shit. I'm not going to have any problems. I'm going to take this model as far as it's going to go without the goddamn problems associated with it. I can always have another family somewhere else. I don't have to deal with the options and problems. It'll just be a bill at that point.
All right.
So
that's
you're a
all that I wanted
proponent
to ask. Oh, sorry.
All right, cool.
That's all I wanted to
No, I was asking MOT. Thanks for coming up, Queen Q. I was asking MOT. Are you a proponent of disowning, like, ill-behaved kids?
Yes.
So your daughter brings home
what?
like a Little Wayne type dude, and what would you say? Like, would you say it like, you are disowned, or would you say I cast thee out, or like how I never seen anybody get disowned, so I'm kind of curious.
I mean, it happens all the time in the Muslim culture, not the American Muslim culture, but the kind of more Saudi Arabian, some African cultures. Yeah, it does happen, and it's great to see. It's great to see the person have no protection of the group. They become homeless, they become a vagrant, and then they ended up picked up by some black guy. That's what happens.
All right, I think RBR had something.
I guess.
Well, no, I was just saying that I would hope that you wouldn't wait till your kid was Little Wayne's age and then decided that you were going to disown him. I would hope that there would have been some education and
sure.
Okay.
Oh, sure.
Right.
I mean, like, once you raise a person in a culture of protection, they can choose whether or to actually continue with that protection or not. Like being a part of this family is at will. You can be gone at any point in time, just like anybody else.
Mm.
That's the shared buy-in that happens here. Like my grandfather did this, and it was extremely effective until my grandmother died, and then he later died. It was extremely effective. Extremely effective. Consequences are extremely effective.
Right now, at what age did the veering off from the tutelage happen? Like
them,
certainly when the kids are young, they're going to be extremely obedient. When do you think they might start losing their way?
I don't know, it could be around 12, 13 years old when they think they can actually challenge power. I've seen it.
Okay, all right. It's very interesting because I was going to ask the question that can we change the culture, or are these stereotypes about our culture something that our culture has to live with forever?
No, and it's like this. Like we know how most of the kids are born within this culture.
Mm-hmm.
Weekend, unplanned, quick hit, shot out. You know, that's how it's planned. But if you deliberately plan and want to walk away from certain types of situations, that's what I would do. Like and a lot of people don't like this or they think it's wrong because they would want the eternal protection regardless of the consequences. So you have to ask yourself, how far is too far? And the person would know in advance how far is too far. It isn't like you wake up one day and all of a sudden this stuff happens, right? There's a system in place. I think that kids should be raised under systems. If you want a specific type of result, you want kids to be raised under a system that works, that already works. If you look at other cultures who are far more successful than us as a culture, they have a system of participation, a system of input, planning, work, output. You have to raise people in that type of system. Can they turn away from it? Like Neil Bush versus like a George W. or Jeb Bush? Can that happen? Absolutely. But there has to be consequences for that. Real, long-standing, 0% protection in those type of things. And guess what? You have to be specific and deliberate with these type of things because it isn't about what you would do to other people with your standards. It is what you would do to your own with those standards that matters the most.
Okay. Well, do you think that the culture of our society is treating blacks differently than the society is treating Asians and whites? Do you think that the treatment of the society is equal to the three cultures?
No, it's not equal, and it doesn't absolve them of the inputs of their own individual and personal action. Me personally, I want my government to be professional all the time. I don't give a damn if it's 100,000 people killing each other every weekend in Chicago. I want the government to be professional regardless of how those people act, because those are the people that we elect to be professional at work.
Okay, so with a society that believes one culture is superior to another, would that society elect people that would be professional towards the black people that they're trying to kill, or would they be more in line with the people that they feel elected them to kill the people who weren't white, to kill the people who were degenerate and inferior, whose culture deserved to be exterminated or eliminated or watered down?
Yeah, but there are things in place that really stop a person from acting. You know, outside like your one-offs, like your Dylan Roofs or whatever, or even the DC sniper type situation. You're not going to be able to stop those individuals from doing those type of crimes, but you can put a lot of restrictions in place from the personnel who seek out political office on that level.
Okay, so you agree that some of the violence and animosity that we have seen towards black people started at the top and then kind of trickled its way down to.
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
It was
Well,
the easiest way to be an American by hating what other Americans hated.
okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. No, and I like that. One of the criticisms would be that, oh, okay, everybody's the same. Everybody should be treated the same. But you're saying, and you've mentioned Black culture versus other cultures, and I think that that's important. One of the things that I get attacked on is I understand that people that have a white mother or an Asian mother have access to another culture different from the culture they were born. Right?
Yeah.
These are Black people like Tiger Woods and them, and Obama and Kamala Harris, who were born Black, but they had a white mother or an Asian mother, and therefore they learned other cultures, and they seem to do better in society. And so people say, no, if you learn another culture, you ain't Black no more because you learned this other culture. You learned British culture.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, but RBR, with that point, everybody have seemed to attribute it Black as in we are in control of failure. We are in control of not taking each other seriously. We are in control of not being politically active. We are in control of all those things. So when people are talking about Black culture, they're talking about a protected systemic dysfunction that cannot be criticized. And so what they try to do is they try to hide it behind nonsense like skin color, rather than try to tie it to things like outcomes.
Right. Or culture. I mean,
yeah.
so if the reason that somebody, and like I said, if your mother's Asian, you're gonna learn, and your stepfather's Asian, you're gonna learn Asian culture whether you want to or not. You're not gonna fit into the household. So I'm saying, but the benefit of it is not that your mother's white or your mother's Asian or your stepfather's Asian or you went to school in Indonesia. The benefit is you learned another culture, which makes you easier to navigate other cultures that aren't considered degenerate and inferior, who aren't considered criminal, who aren't considered dumb and low IQ and stuff like that. And so the point is that someone like me, who has both parents are Black, I could do the same thing. I could grow up in Chinatown or Koreatown where I live now, and I could learn another culture. I could go to the University of Washington and I could learn white culture and Asian culture. It makes me a better rounded person, and it has nothing to do with me being mixed, because I'm not. My parents are Black. And I think that when we talk about changing the culture, we're not talking about changing Black culture. We're talking about Black people learning Asian and white culture because they have no interest in learning ours, because ours is deemed degenerate and inferior. Would that be fair?
Well, most of the outcomes are, but you can individually change that. I mean, the thing is, I don't even care about what they think. I care about individual outcomes. Like, we got here by individual inputs and individual outcomes. We're going to get out of this by individual inputs and individual outcomes, and also making sure people are not abusing their public office to do X, Y, Z thing against a person. Like for me, to be quite honest, I think that more statistics based across the board on specific type of crimes, I think that all crimes should be punished via supercomputer based on inputs and outputs. That's the only way to make it fair and equal.
Mm-hmm. Would you admit though that even though these crimes would be treated as equal, white people aren't going to count the 40,000 unarmed black people that were murdered by police as being murdered by police? They're not going to count that as a crime. They're not going to count.
I really don't care about. I really don't care about what they think, because I want a system of consequences in place that forces them via the actual data that's on hand. Because right now we can't hold anybody responsible because there's no data to actually subject anything. You can't even find out who shot what for what reason under what circumstances all over the country. Every single municipality finds it differently, and the people who are actually compiling the data are actually compiling an incomplete source of data.
Yeah, that's true. Or they're hiding the data on purpose. And so, one of the things that you said that I definitely have to give credit to and reinforce: who we elect to be in charge of our lives, to be in charge of our government, is the most important thing that we can do. And I want to say here and now, I'll ask you though, is what's best for the Black community at large? What's best for the country at large and the society at large? Or should we go with the Marxist model where the top 1% wealthiest people in a society are the ones that should be protected over everybody else?
No, it shouldn't be. And this is what happens when you have people who come to prominence because of the problems in or around Black people, but they don't know anything about the histories of the problems, how they came to be right now. Right now, you could be a very great personality within Black YouTube. The only thing you have to do is call yourself conservative, never discuss policy, be partially anti-Black, and just be on some troll to left shit. That's all conservatism has actually been whittled down to. There's no policy discussions. There is no historical accounts. They're not even willing to admit, which is actually an admission, by the way, of the Juneteenth celebration, that the parties were separate back then. If they had to remind so-called Democratic Texas, you think that the Democratic Party of Texas back then is the Democratic Party of right now? I mean, but see, that's the thing that you have when you have the deliberate spreading of ignorance with the idea.
Is that fair to them, though, MOT? They don't talk about policy because they believe values and liberties and freedoms are more important than policy.
No, that's the way to obfuscate the situation without discussing policy. With their 7-2 Supreme Court, they legislating from the bench. Don't get me wrong, they will.
Okay, but it's based on their They're going to say it's based on their values and their principles.
That's another way of saying culture. You are never going to end the culture war. You're never going to be able to make a better culture where people are going to respect you. That's an individual choice on an individual basis. That's how we got here. Individuals who decided to besmirch their actual oath of office to do things that are outside the actual control over that. That's for the people who hold office, the people who deliberately go into teaching positions, even though they really have a predetermined outcome about what they feel about Black. Like I said, all the data has to be compiled in such a way so that way you enforce change based on data, not really feeling, based on data, historical.
Are you talking about applying critical thinking to these? These issues of race, because we got people in the chat room saying that you don't apply critical thinking to race, you apply critical thinking to politics, you apply critical thinking to religious issues, but race, oh hell no, whatever lie the racists are telling this shit.
And guess what, they have a level of media protection. Fox News says their stuff, AM radio says their stuff, and the whole media narrative universe says nothing about it. So as much as liberal that they claim the media is, the media was actually probably more liberal in like the 50s and 60s because you just couldn't be on TV saying nonsense that you could say now. They wouldn't even let you on TV. And if you started your mouth off saying that stuff, they cut you off and they kicked you off the stage.
Absolutely. Well, I guess we can get into media because that's obviously an area that I'm very interested in. I think that that's the future in terms of where we are going to be in terms of Black economics. We need information systems. How ironic that the richest company on earth, Google, is steeped in information. That all they do is offer information. And one of the things that surprised me in my adult life is when Google, a friend of mine had owned InfoSpace, and they had a $633 million IPO, and they were called InfoSpace, and it was all about information. And what they did was connect your cell phone to the internet. All right, made him super rich. But here's the point: when Google pitched the idea of Google to him, that they would take all the information in the world and put it together and you have access to it on your fingertips, on your smartphone, on your desktop, all the information in the world. We never considered that people would put false information up here, that there would be Wikipedia and QAnon nuts and alt-right and Fox News. And it never crossed our mind that there would be a group of people who would put false information into the marketplace to protect what they saw was their power, what they saw was their elite status, that they would purposely put misinformation out there in order to take power over people who they felt didn't deserve the same rights and freedoms that they did.
Correct.
All right.
But see, there was a particular deliberate decision to not educate people on that outside of the school system by people who are black themselves. That's what happened. Just just like the pro-black movement got, pretty much disrupted and
Hijacked.
disturbed
Right.
and destroyed
Sean
by
King.
yeah, not just him, but like not having standards of keeping the criminal element and those slick talking people out of the actual conversation. Leaving them out of the conversation would have did us a lot of good, but including them on some one big happy family thing with no standards at all. If you have no standards, the only people who win with no standards are the people who cannot adhere to any type of standard at all. So the government was still wrong, but we was just as wrong. It doesn't make the government right in what they did. I still expect a level of professionalism from them. But see, the other flip side of that argument is, how can you expect the government to treat you equally if you can't do X, Y, Z? I'm like, okay, the next time you go to McDonald's, I want you to expect to be poisoned by the hamburger that you just ate. Oh, no, not me. I mean, you guys. Like, okay, so it does make sense once you personalize it. But when it's not personalized, you generalize it to make your dumbass point. So this is why you got to have tests and other things in place to make sure people's cognitive functions are working properly. So that way, when they make certain type of decisions, you can refer back to their progress report or their application that they filled out stating that they specifically wasn't going to do X. But when we start looking at the track record of them, that they are clearly doing X, and then you would have to have a measure of removing those individuals. You see, a lot of people want to operate in this vacuum of no criticism, of no type of anything. This is what has given us the way it is now work. This is how you hear certain things like, oh, I respect the hustle, or, oh, man, the dude's just trying to get his bread, or whatever terms that I'm never going to adhere to or deal with, because I know exactly what's coming behind those lack of terms. When it comes to standards.
What do you think that it would be, society is better if we have a total mix of people who have a high standard, the standards that you're talking about, and people who don't have the standards, so we don't get side. I always felt that in a nation like Africa, before there was an introduction of whites or Asians, there was no other races of people. It was homogeneous. There's no way that I could believe that every African was on board with the program, that every African was civilized, educated, and had a sense of morality.
No, there's no way.
Yeah, we had to have liars. We had to have cheats. We had to have people that were looking at somebody else's wife and stuff like that. We had to. Now, how were we successful? Well, society, and you talked about culture, society made, people don't walk out their house butt naked. Women don't walk out with their shirts off and their tops off. They don't do it. Why? We frowned on that. We've made a society where if you're doing something stupid, the society checks you, not your parents, not your teachers, which is what we have, what we romanticize that we had back in the day. It was your parents, it was your teacher, and they could that was it. Well, now we got YouTube. Now we got Fox News. Now we got TikTok. Now we got Instagram. Now we got Facebook. Now we got Twitter. Should the concept change because people aren't just getting their information from their parents and their teachers? I mean, what does it mean?
I mean, now RBR, it's a bunch of choice associations now.
Yes. Should it change though? I mean, see, so what I'm saying, and I think what you're saying is, okay, the culture here on YouTube. Now, keep in mind, let's not be silly. Google owns the site, and they could decide who comes here and who doesn't. And they're going to decide that the people with the frog logos that support Trump and Putin that are going to get over here. They're not going to let 96% of black people who voted for Obama come over here because it would change the culture of black YouTube. So the people that come over here are going to be the people that are anti-black, gay people giving relationship advice to heterosexuals, all this, that, and the other. So we understand that we are going to have to deal with people that aren't trying to give us the information that we need to carry on a civil society.
But see,
I don't.
Let me stop you right there.
Yes.
That can be changed with individuals who are getting together to have kids to be actually invested in the outcome. We don't have people who are invested in the outcome right now. They have the outcome, which is whenever they want to walk out of the relationship. This is why I say you got to change the culture on the individual level and basis. You can't expect men to deal with a poisonous marketplace in order to have a specific set of outcomes. Yeah, this culture matters and it that way. Like in a highly successful society, you don't have people trying to sell you ideas of uncultured women. You don't have that type of stuff. You only have it within broken societies that don't work. And the only thing you
Now,
have to do is ask them for proof, or then with said lack of proof, you could just have them turn around and say, okay, how are you going to be able to compete with XYZ with this type of system?
are you scaring the conservatives by saying that you want proof in outcomes as opposed to access?
Yeah,
You want to guarantee? You want to guarantee that these brothers and sisters will make it, that they will be successful, as opposed to just giving them an opportunity to have access. You want success. You want 14 major golf championships and 24 major tennis titles. Are you?
Yeah, but that's not true. It's just that you can have a free and just society even outside of those people being successful in their own right. You see it all the time. No, you should go to some African countries.
I know if we.
Yes.
If okay, all right, because some people ain't gonna make it.
That's fine. But at the expense of those people are not going to make it, that doesn't mean that we don't try.
Okay. Well, I think that we should have a 2% safety net just for those people who fall through the cracks. I mean,
good. I don't care about that. I want my taxes to go up as long as it goes to stuff that makes sense. I'm not trying to give my money away to big oil or the military industrial complex who I actually work for, by the way. I don't want them to get the money. I want the people who's going to actually look. I think college should be free and actual investment in the actual people to get a specific outcome. Look, people need actual, I think there should be public transportation everywhere, including states like Mississippi. You can't leave it up to the state legislature in Jackson and that guy who's running the show to care about the outcome of the actual state itself. Sometimes the federal government have to come in. It's like, look, you're running a third world state. If you don't increase things, we're going to come in here and we're going to run it for you until these outcomes get up. So, yeah, people have to be held responsible for what they actually do. Yeah.
So you're talking about a little bit government.
Yeah.
That's okay.
The government can get as small as it wants to the moment it starts functioning properly.
Okay. All right. No, I agree with that. I'm just saying that conservatives ain't going to agree with that. They see unless they can get the train of the pork and that's what this infrastructure bill is. It's just pork. Now they don't want to say it, but each state got all this money for their state.
Did your state support? Did your state support? Did your state support? That's all it is.
Yeah. It's pork. But that's usually a Democratic thing. But I understand, everybody wants to get something for themselves, for their state and stuff like that. It's
Listen, man, those Western Republicans are doing the same thing those Democrats doing. Texas, amazing roads. At least I-35, those state highways were like 75 miles an hour, some of that stuff could be dangerous. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to make your stuff better and great so that way people can move there, so that way companies can want to move there. You got to be able to have, actual infrastructure so that way people can take part in society. Like I could drop people off in the Mississippi Delta. They wouldn't know what the hell to do. They would starve within a week. They wouldn't know what to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And would you recommend that Black people that are living in those areas, do you recommend that they move? We had a migration from the South that went up north for the factories and stuff like that, which are gone now. So don't do that now. You late as hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
But do you think that maybe in those areas that are a little bit slower, and obviously they're slow for a reason, that have the highest Black populations, do you recommend that Black people move?
Again, it has to be the individual situation because you just can't force something like that on people. Should it be a good idea for people who are actually making it and doing very well in New York or anywhere in the New England region, go down south with all their money and buy up everything and make sure society works and lock out all the people and come up with their own district leaders and Congress people who can actually get the investments that they need in that area? Absolutely. But to force it on people, Absolutely not. It still has to be a level of freedom and participation. And I don't think that the people who don't participate in such a society should benefit from it.
Okay. Are you talking about from the tax base, or are you talking about for private industry? Because, like I said, what
Both.
Van Jones
Both.
got from Bezos, that's private industry. That didn't have shit to do with the government.
Hmm.
I think that private industry should at least participate on par with the government. We don't want the government to do everything, but what role do these people that are in that top 1%, what role do they have in this country to ensure that people can afford to buy their bullshit?
Here's the thing, man. I think it's very simple and easy. Once they start talking about tax cuts, put them all in prison.
Mm.
Have them be charged with conspiracy to commit tax fraud on the behalf of corporations and being a poor motherfucker while doing so.
Mm.
There is nobody who makes no less than $1 million who should be talking about tax cuts and what it does. I want you in prison for what you think and what you believe. Because of what you think and believe supports big ass corporations, and you a dude who don't even have his shit together. Now, I expect Jeff Bezos to be in favor of some shit like that. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
Why? It benefits his bottom line. But people who don't have that type of money believing in that shit, oh hell no, man. No. No.
Well, they're talking about inflation. If you give the money to the middle class, then a loaf of bread is going to be $500. What do you think about the inflation argument?
They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know. They don't care. They don't have anything to say. They just say communist, socialist, fascist, and just walk out of the room. Yeah, I don't even talk to these type of guys anymore. I think responding to them ad nauseum has really given them a level of power by people who are non organized. I mean, they're predators. What they're doing is they're preying on the ignorance of people who don't know what the hell to do, what actually to do here. And what they do is they just prey on these individuals. That's what happens. You know, you really can't get past it. The only thing you can do is do your own thing. Because these people, like I said, they're only interested in things becoming the same. This is why they're talking about women or how easily they can get access to an uncultured woman that doesn't receive any outcomes. And this is why your outcome has to be reproduced so many times, because it doesn't make any sense.
No, I hear what you're saying. Well, how did you feel about the arguments that people were making against you that, and it's a common charge. We know it's not true, but it's a charge that you can't obtain these certain types of women, so therefore you disregard the certain type of women. It's not what you said, but it's what people charge against you.
I don't care. Because I know they're stupid and wrong, and they're trying to protect women who don't protect them on any level. Women ain't out here trying to protect even bad men. They don't have to do that. You know what? Know why they don't have to protect anybody? Because they got all the access that they want. But see, these dudes want to make themselves look like they're the choice of those women by making all these undemonstrated claims and assertions. It makes no sense. It's almost like using my freedom of choice makes them mad. Oh, you just can't have this. That's why, okay, if I can't have it and you want it, that means the discussion is over and everything is happening the way that you want it. But that's not the case. They just want me to compete in a corrupt system so that way I can get the consequences, so that way they can laugh at my schadenfreude by actually trying to switch the level of masculinity from the things that needs to be done right to the things that need to be done wrong. I don't even care. Dude, listen, man, I have been socialized by men to not care about this. Men like this have been pointed out to me very early about what not to do. These people are 50 and 60 years old right now, looking like 15-year-olds in the 70s, and they have the same talking points. They're like, look, well, you know what? Maybe you just can't have a woman. Guess what? Maybe I don't want them. Can I say that? Or can I not say that? Because they could definitely say it to me. Right. Do I have the right to say no?
Game Changer brought up a good point. Game Changer said that men that are focusing on women lack in business success, lack in personal success because they look chasing the skirts. And one of the things that I was taught by my wife's father is that if you can't keep your dick in your pants, you're not going to be successful.
No.
You need that stable monogamous relation to stay your ass out the strip club every goddamn Friday night. So speak to that in terms of the stability that a monogamous relationship brings to a man who's about business.
Correct. So like most of these liberal men who are worried about these liberal women, happily enough calling themselves conservatives, like they don't understand stability, order, and structure. They don't care about any of that because they want this society not to improve the way it is. You think most of these older individuals, myself as being an official kind of older individual, but I represent a specific brand of old niggadness. that you think that they would want most black men being productive given the fact that they ain't doing shit with their own life? You really think that they want most black men to go out here and start businesses and start being successful and thriving and shit without the downfall of the woman that they purposefully chased and that the consequences that they cannot deal with? You think most of these people here now who have a level of cult of personality built up around platforming idiots and damn fools and people who don't know anything about anything and people who are not really invested in the society as a whole, you think most of these people want to see that shit? No, they don't want to see that. They don't want to see it. So they rather mislead the entire group, have their own 42 years in the desert. They just want to be the next dude who's the head of circling the people in the desert for 42 years. That's what they want to do. They don't want things to change. They love things the way that it is, and they don't want the women not to be empowered. They actually do want the women to be empowered. This is why when you don't change their level and standard of masculinity, they get upset like a motherfucker. They cannot stand the fact of you being a free guy, having your stuff together and actually keeping it away from people who don't like it. They actually want you to feed it to those actual people who don't like or respect you, so that way you can end up taking care of their responsibilities. That's what they want. And it's a cultural outcome that is socialized by the Bravo Alpha November within the Black American society and American society as a whole.
Do you believe that some of the men, majority of the men, would like to have the ability to have the freedom of choice that you have, but they don't believe it's possible? So they accept what the women will offer them. Cheap sex, see ya, wouldn't want to be ya.
I mean, but see, but see, the height of a man within this culture is a Bravo Alpha November because they stop growing as a man once they get access to sex. They stop growing as a man. The only thing they try to do is
we call it pussy whipped.
Yeah, but you got synthetic pussy whipped niggas now. That's the problem. They don't have like the whole point is to chase and obtain Stockholm syndrome. They're chasing Stockholm syndrome. They don't have any experience with these women. They're trying to chase Stockholm syndrome. That's what this exercise is about at this point. Yeah, they're trying to chase Stockholm syndrome.
But does it come from fear? As a confident man that knows that he could pull the type of woman that he desires would not be trying to run through any woman that would be willing to sleep with him. But an unconfident man would. He'd be happy to get some,
Yeah.
sleep with anybody.
Like a Bravo Alpha November, like a Bravo Alpha November is actually a sexual kind of solipsist, like sexual kind of what do you call it? He like a shark. Will eat anything whenever it's human. They spit it out. That's how they're like, and you can't really deal with the culture of men like that because they've already given up. They've already given up on individual action. They have completely surrendered to the woman's power within society. They completely surrendered. And they're not happy until they have a 100% success rate of Bravo Alpha Novemberage.
So they don't. So are you? What happens to the woman that they fall in love with, though?
They're not here to fall in love with women. They romanticize access. They don't have. They romanticize access, And with that
So they
access
avoid
comes.
those women. What if you just met somebody and you fell in love with her? She was the finest sister you ever saw. You talked to her. You had a good time. You laughed. It's, what do they do? Do they not pursue these women because they don't want to get caught up?
No. The problem is they still want to be undisciplined at the end of the day and keep themselves on the market to chase those levels of Stockholm syndrome, so that way they can later complain about those situations that they chased intentionally.
Wow. So
Yeah,
they're
they
not going
intentionally
after
chased it.
women that they love.
Correct.
They're not going after those women.
They're going after the specific level of women who cause them the type of problems that they claim that they don't want.
Wow.
Yeah, it's that easy. It's that mathematical.
I gave my book to Boyce Watkins, and I wrote in the book that all of us have met someone that we really loved. And most of these women at the time that we might have met them were going through what I call the hoe phase. So they ain't married anybody during the hoe phase. And if they do marry, you God help the poor sucker who she marries while she's going through her hoe phase.
This is why there's a deliberate choice to stay away from those type of people. That you have to make it very deliberate and upfront, so that way you don't receive certain outcomes and results. But most of these people want those outcomes and results to complain about. They want to practice these ineffective things until it actually works.
And it's never going to work.
Correct, because there's no beginning, there's no end. It's a time loop. Yeah. And the moment that you challenge them, all of a sudden everybody's getting large and loud, and all of a sudden you got these people who claim they got logic, asking dumbass questions from positions and points that don't make any sense, and all of a sudden you don't want to play this game because you're not good at it. I'm like, well, maybe I don't want to play soccer. Maybe I don't want to learn soccer. Maybe soccer can just be soccer, and the people who want to play and interact with soccer can interact with soccer, because that's what choice is about.
Absolutely.
It's not hard.
Right. So to finish the story, he went and found some girl that he was in love with 20 years ago, 30 years ago, who was going through her whole phase, wasn't trying to marry anybody. And now that she had finished her whole phase, and now that he had finished his whole phase, because whether you agree or not, you could tell me whether you agree or not. Do men go through a whole phase?
Men romanticize the whole phase. A lot of people teach from the whole phase. None of these dudes have the whole phase to which they're talking about. That's the cult of personality built on the actual claims of your masculinity being tied to have the balls to go up to a woman and ask for sex within 5 minutes, rather than having a strategic approach to an actual outcome that I want, which is not that stuff. Because guess what? I know how that stuff is given away. I know what condition that is most likely in. And guess what? I'm going to have a more rational approach to the outcomes that I want. Because guess what? I get to choose too. But to them, I don't get to have a choice, because my choice is caught up in taking care of their responsibilities later on down the line. So they want to push the fact that they don't have choice and try to socialize me into I don't have choice. So they want to push me into competing in their bad marketplace, so that way I can receive the new consequences that they clearly have never or had any access to. That's what it is.
Well, what do you think about a woman that has been through a whole phase? Do you think she's persona non grata?
Don't care. Don't care. Listen. Maybe there's somebody for her. It's not going to be me.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because here's the thing. There's no woman within Black America going around saying that maybe that guy haven't had his dick sucked in a while. Maybe I ought to give him a blowjob. No woman ever comes up having these conversations like that. But men have the conversations on the behalf of women like that all the time. Listen, if you mismanage your cooch clock, I can't do anything for you. As a woman in this Black American society, there is not a single woman who has her body together, her mind straight, and everything in order that she can't find a dude with, unless she's attracted to some bullshit. And that's on her. I want her to have all the choice, to make all the choice in the decisions that she wants to. So when it comes to the end, we can no longer complain about who got the choice or not, because we know what choices look like, and we know what they don't look like.
You don't think that you having this knowledge, you don't think that you could help a sister who doesn't have the knowledge, who thinks that her whole phase and her attraction as a whore to men is the best asset that she has. You couldn't help her by saying, no, that's not the best asset you can have.
No,
you have other qualities that men who aren't just trying to screw everything that moves might appreciate. Maybe you should slow down. You don't think that you could communicate with her? No,
this is a deliberate decision. Because here's the thing. It's not like we don't have.
You don't think women are like men in that they'll go with guys who will go with them?
RBR. It's not like we don't have 50-year-old women, 40-year-old women, 60-year-old women who don't respect men, who did the same shit in their time. We're coming at it from the standpoint is if we don't know how these outcomes are, but we're willing to let them have them inputs to the outcome because some people want to actually benefit from it. But I don't care. This is on them. If they want to do this stuff, that's on them. I'm okay with the free choice aspect of it. I want them to have as much options as inhumanly possible, because disregarding choice earlier is not going to make you have an appreciation for it later. These are all choices that comes with responsibility. That's what choice gives you, the responsibility for the outcome.
All right. So you're saying that once they pass 20, then they're done. You can forget.
No.
Okay.
Once they pass feeding themselves into that system, they're actually done.
Okay. And you believe that if they make it through the system unscathed, or they lie and don't tell you how many abortions they had, then you don't think that they could ever revert back or ever hit the wall or any of the other things that the brothers say. You think once they're past a certain age and they've done the damn thing, you don't think that there's a chance that they could, the real Cujo, the real person could come out.
I am not personally going to be the back catcher's mitt who's going to be handling that ball when it's pitched by the pitcher. I'm not going to be that guy. Wow. I got other things to do. I cannot be worried about women that are not under my protection. They're under the protection of the government and whatever man that they choose to be with. And GC is about to have this movie night. I do not want to trample upon that everybody likes going to. So, you got any last questions before we get up out of here?
No. Thank you for letting me even do this, Melody. I appreciate it. Thank you, Man of Tomorrow.
Thanks for coming. And thank you. It was so good, Man of Tomorrow, MOT. I loved it. Yeah, and I'm sorry about all the effery, but
no. You have to see the other sides of it. They're here to derail the conversation, so these conversations can't happen. That's their job. Their job is to make sure that these things can't happen. So
right, but you did well conducting yourself, so yay. So I really liked it, and hopefully we can do something else.
All right, cool. Yeah, very indeed. So I don't want to trample upon the movie night. I've never seen Hitch before, so I'm going to be coming through tonight. So
okay, great. Come through. We'll have a good time. Okay,
all right. Thanks so much for coming on RBR. You got any last words, GC, before we go over there? Or is he still here?
Yeah, I'm still here. No, I'm just setting up movie night right now. But yeah, come through.
All right, cool.
RBR, come through. Hit the link. We have a lot of fun in movie night.
Right, so that sounds good. That sounds good. All right, so I appreciate you guys. Yeah, we'll do this again.
You too.
And make sure y'all make sure y'all subscribe to my channel if y'all want to hear conversations that are different within the manosphere.
And also drop your link just in case there's someone that don't have you. Drop your link.
Put the link in. You got blocked me too, Man of Tomorrow. You got me blocked on the women's channel. You got me blocked on RBR Network. That's cold, brother.
Yeah. GC, can you please drop his link because I can't.
Yeah, let me go to a site.
Yeah, and I'm on my phone, so I can't. I don't even.
I know. I was like trying to cross over from that stream. It was a good stream.
It was a great MOT. His channel is awesome. Make sure you guys subscribe. Definitely subscribe to MOT. And RBR, he's on a panel too. Subscribe to him if you haven't already. If you want RBR, you can also drop your link.
And here's the thing. I already have a specific result that I'm trying to get to. I'm not trying to figure this stuff out. I already know where I want to
go. Pretty much.
Yeah.
And you seem to be doing very, very well for yourself. So keep on going.
No, you got to keep it. Yeah, just keep it.
GC, you can also drop your link, even though we have the same people. But you can go ahead and drop your link too. But make sure you guys come through, watch Hitch. We usually give a red pill perspective on the movies. So it should be fun.
All right, cool. All right, well, thanks for having me on, and you guys have a really nice day.
Thanks for coming. You as well.
All right, here's MOT's link right there.
Okay. Everybody hit that link right now and subscribe if you haven't already.
So could you put it in the description box of your channel?
Yeah, let me go ahead and do that. Hold on. I have to copy it before I go. 1 second. MLT, you doing any shows?
No, not right now. I got a lot of stuff to do. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great. So I'm gonna put this in the description. What's that echo?
Oh, it's not me. Well, maybe it is me. Well, I'll leave though anyway. Hey, thanks for having me on. Later, GC. Later, RBR.
Thanks for coming. Bye.
Bye. All right, I'm gonna hop off too. So
okay.
Let me get this up. Okay.
Thank you, GC. Bye, everybody. Everybody hit the like on the way out. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe already. And bye. Till the next time. See you again.